Hey everybody, what's going on? Rob Sesternino back here for our brand new Survivor off-season podcast where we break down the arbitrary and reductive here on Outwit, Outplay, OutLIST. And today we are going to be talking about the Survivor's most iconic immunity necklaces. This one's going to be a visual one. You're going to want to check this out on our YouTube channel if you want to follow along and see what we're seeing. Otherwise, we will be describing for you podcast listeners. And so, of course, here is my co-host, co-founder of Outwit, Outplay, OutLIST. Give it up for Mr. Mike Bloom.
Happy to be back for a second engagement, Rob, as we continue to outlist. You will not believe which one of these immunity necklaces came from Sears, much like Sophie Clark.
Oh, yes. I have been going back and forth with Sophie over these last couple of days about her Sears application tape.
Wow. Did you find out any other key tidbits about what she did?
She sent me the video. I watched the whole thing.
How was it?
Great. It was a great video. I think that those videos had to be only 60 seconds, kept it very tight.
Wow. Okay. So you understand why maybe it didn't resonate with the audiences of the Sears contest, but definitely made its way to the, hit where it really was supposed to with the Survivor casting team proper.
You saw why Lynn Spillman said, okay, we have gold. But we have gold here today because we are joined by, of course, Mike's podcast co-host when he talks about Survivor South Africa. And then, of course, the chief international Survivor correspondent for Rob as a Podcast. Please welcome Shannon Gus is here. Shannon, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for introducing me as Mike's podcast co-host. You narrowed the field to several dozen people. Kept the suspense going. Who's it going to be? One of anyone?
Yeah.
I think about this all the time. Like, Mike is my only co-host, and that's really important to me. Like, that's really sacred, and I'm just one of the many to Mike, but it's fine.
No, but I said this on another podcast the other day. Like, I have so much love to give to each and every person that I
was just listening to that, and I was like, okay, nice to hear that on another one of your many podcasts where you reach out in person. Mike can tell me what
Mike,
you mean to me.
How close are we to the full-on Brant Steele of all of your podcast co-hosts? Are we there yet?
I mean, I might have to recuse myself from that because I don't know if I feel like that's going to be literally a worst case scenario for me. Put all my friends in a Brant Steele. This is how friendships are broken, even virtually through actions that are not of the people that are playing.
It'd have to be an Australian Survivor Brant Steele for how many co-hosts you have. I don't even know if that would fit.
Well, I think we could probably, we'd have to get the Survivor historians in there.
Right. We have to obviously get my wife in there because she's like my co-host on life
partner, right?
And also, didn't you do you did another you actually co-hosted a podcast?
Yeah, I mean, she and I co-hosted podcasts together. So yeah, there's a voluminous list. But that being said, maybe that's another Outplay list if we get far enough.
Mike can rank all of his podcast co-hosts.
Oh, that's wonderful. That'll be the last podcast I ever do. I'll promise that.
All right.
Okay.
So today we're going to be talking about Survivor's most iconic immunity necklaces. Mike, can you just tell us what was your criteria for iconic immunity necklaces?
Right. So to sort of typify and narrow the field, unlike revealing that my co-host is on the podcast here, as to what we're doing here. So we're talking immunity necklaces. We are not talking immunity idols. We are not talking tribe immunity idols. We are talking, you've won an individual immunity in Survivor. Congratulations. Spin and grin. Jeff's going to put this necklace on you. That's what we're talking about today. And obviously we had 40 to choose between. I cut that list right in half and narrowed it down to 20. And I think what I distilled is 20 of probably the most interesting designs in Survivor history when it comes to immunity necklaces, for good and for bad.
So are we talking about their aesthetic purposes or things that happen to these particular necklaces? Or both?
It's a good question because I do think, one of the onuses of this podcast is to sort of come in and talk about our own criteria for ranking these types of things. Because, I mean, there probably are some associated memories with some of these things as well. Like, I can remember when this got put around so-and-so's neck. Or, I mean, for instance, spoiler alert, the Survivor Micronesia necklace will not be in this podcast, but it has associated memories, right? Considering that it's something that Eric gave away. It showed up on another season and became an idol in Ghost Island. So I think,
why is it not on this list? Because it became an idol and idols aren't part of the list?
No, I mean, from an aesthetic perspective, it was just sort of fine.
Oh, this is already so controversial.
You
didn't make the top 20?
I mean, listen, it's tough to say top 20 again, because there are some objectively not very good necklaces on here.
Good. We embrace the controversy and the interaction here on Outwit, Outplay,
Don't
OutLIST.
say we. Don't say we.
Yes, we do. We do.
Rob,
because that's engagement. That's what we're looking for here. We crave it here in the Survivor off season. Of course, last time out, we went through, Shannon, can you believe we talked about Survivor's most iconic product placements?
Something that is near and dear to my heart.
Yes. Well, we get the whole international product
placement.
Well,
yeah, that's the thing. I had many requests when I posted that subject last week. It's like, you got to do BioStrath. And it's like, I couldn't do it without Shannon.
B, I would have killed you.
BioStrath tastes like garbage water that came from a latrine.
Okay, well,
in fairness, that
as a matter of legality, like we don't think that, Mike, remember?
Oh yeah, right. I forgot. That was my persona.
We actually because people were talking to the product placement people at the Survivor South Africa reunion, and they were really a fan of what we were doing. I guess there's no such thing as bad press, right?
I don't know if that's the case yet, considering that we taste tested it and vociferously gagged on microphone in response to it. But I guess it is the Bette Midler policy. But yeah, unfortunately, maybe another time we can embrace, because even outside of that, we have Hungry Jacked for Australia. We had Pizza Hut for New Zealand. So there's lots of international sponsors out there.
Also, Shannon, speaking of international Survivor, you just had a interesting podcast that you filed with Dirty Harry this week.
Yeah, so I'm trying to start a bit of a thing. Well, actually, Harry came to me with his insights from playing 2 seasons on the social game, and we wanted to dig into, when you're like, oh, they had a good social game. What does that mean? That's so vague. You would say that about really different types of players. So we kind of dug into the specifics of that. And ways to approach the social game and the way perception works into that. And we had kind of a criteria for that. So it could not be more different to this. It was just hyper strategy, if you want to check that out. And this is meaningless. I don't know what this is, but it's not that.
Dessert. This is Shannon is providing incredibly strategic and valuable philosophical meals, and we are the Oreo sundae that comes out.
Yes, and Harry knows a thing or two about a ice cream dessert, so it all comes full circle. All right,
you guys are product placementing right now, but I just wanted to say as well, I'm hoping to do a bit of a game theory off-season series and kind of dig into those strategic topics as they pertain to Survivor. So if anyone has any ideas of what they'd like to hear discussed, always, you can reach out to me on social media, and then we can provide a bit of a serious Survivor thing to, again, this absolute nonsense. There's space for both, because this is nonsense.
Okay.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, happy to have you here. Okay, check that out at robiswebsite.com or in our International Survivor podcast feed. Okay. All right, Mike, you want to get things started today?
Absolutely. So as Rob said,
first things first.
This is a very visual podcast. We're going to try our best to describe them. I might throw that on to Rob, who I know these are not bras, but I'm assuming you can do a pretty good job giving descriptions here.
Yeah.
But if
they often go on someone's chest, so it's a similar exercise.
And actually, there might be one in here that is more bra-like than you might think.
Okay.
But we'll get to
you guys are so lucky that I have a cursory knowledge of RHAP, because otherwise I would be very offended right now.
Yes, for the uninitiated, that is part of in game night 1 and 2, win, lose, or bra was a game that was played where we had to come up with the prices of women's undergarments that were selected by Hannah Lil Nesson.
Yes, who again might make an appearance in a manner of speaking in this podcast. But so suffice it to say, if you're watching the videos version of this, no problem. We'll have the guide to follow along with. But if you want to check these out for yourselves and you are on the go and cannot watch a video, just go to bit.ly/outlist necklace. bit.ly/outlist necklace, and they're going to get access to all of the necklaces that we are going to be talking about today, so you can have a nice easy guide and give your own assessments as we tier and rank all of these necklaces in this installment.
Okay, all right, so Mike, what is our first item up for bids?
So we're going to go in chronological order here, and I mean, Shannon was speaking of pure nonsense. Let's start with an item of pure nonsense. We're going back to the very beginning. We're going back to Survivor Borneo. Now, look, there is a lot that is, for lack of a better term, jank about Survivor Borneo. And one of them might be, by comparison to the aesthetics of Survivor nowadays, the immunity necklace. Back then, they called it the immunity talisman. Rob, for those at home just listening along, how would you describe the Borneo immunity necklace?
The Borneo immunity necklace looks like something that my 5-year-old potentially made in arts and crafts. It is kind of a rectangle that has been looks like finger painted, loosely resembling a face, and not just any face, a face which appears to be an unhappy face. There's a little bit of like a Mr. Potato Head red nose in the center, and then it is adorned on the necklace strap by various seashells.
Right, exactly. So yeah, this was the first ever immunity necklace that was given out. Of course, I think this was a place to start, not only because it is iconic at being the first immunity necklace, but I do think in retrospect, its aesthetic leaves something to be desired.
Okay. It is ugly. It is part of the first Survivor season. Shannon, any particular thoughts that jump out for you for the Survivor Borneo immunity necklace?
I appreciate the lack of effort. Like, I think that's ballsy in your first season to come out with something just so bad, as if it was like, what do we have right in front of us? Some paint, our own fingers, a rock or stone, and some shells we can find on the beach. So they clearly just kind of cobbled this together, couldn't bring in the art department from LA. And I appreciate that. I think they could rest on how good the game was and how good the show was, Survivor, without needing to have something really visually appealing, something that looked really impressive. And I think that speaks to how much faith they had in the show. And I think that I'm impressed by that. I mean, obviously it's an iconic necklace. 50 million people watch Richard Hatch give this up in a move that was iconic in terms of the evolution of strategy, and it's yet still so ugly. That should be commended.
Do you think Richard gave it up because it was so ugly?
I don't know.
So look at it.
I'm not wearing this on day 38. Give me the orange slices, Jeff.
He did an epic dance one time when he got it, so I don't think that he necessarily thought it was that ratchet.
I don't know. I mean, it looks literally painful that the shells could be stabbing you in the chest.
Yeah.
The guy is so sad. I wouldn't want to win it.
Yeah, I am concerned about the mood of the totem that is on this talisman. I can understand because Mark Burnett, if you read his book, he was very much into like the cultural basis of this. Like, we are a tribe. We are, ingraining ourselves into the culture and the nature of Pulau Tiga. And I guess you're trying to go for like a very solemn, stern totem, but it looks like you don't want grumpy cats sitting around your neck after you've won immunity and you're safe from the vote.
We don't want D'Angelo Williams or Gary doing a blowfish face.
Exactly, no blowfish.
Why does the necklace have resting bitch face? Like, it's a necklace.
So not only does it have an unhappy face, but it also has like a very like furrowed orange brow, which I don't really get, because if anything, the immunity idol should be like the smiley face emoji.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I'm safe. Maybe it's more so that the immunity, like the totem, forgot its glasses, and it's like trying to read the votes from far away. Because Jeff
I feel that
fairly far away. It's like, oh, what is that? Who's that?
Yeah.
Is that Jay for Jenna?
It's not happy to be there.
I guess so, Mike, this is the first time through for us. So I guess let's talk through this exercise. So I've described the aesthetics. It is part of a iconic season for sure. I don't know if there are too many particularly memorable moments that take place with the immunity necklace in season 1 of Borneo. So what are your criteria?
Like, Mike didn't even put the Micronesia one on the list. So
I guess, but just because it's Mike's criteria, Shannon, doesn't mean that's ours.
So Mike's criteria is wrong. Okay, you add Mike.
Thank you very much. Yeah, please add me. I mean, listen, it's the first one, and it's also like we just spent 15 minutes talking about how fugly it is. Like, that seems iconic to me in a manner of speaking.
Yeah, for me, it's high up just because I feel like they put no time into it because they were putting time into crafting like the greatest game of my lifetime, and I'm appreciative. Imagine if this was better and epic, but then like there was no jury because they didn't have time to think about how, like, there was a fan vote.
I knew we forgot something.
That's the alternate reality where they're like, we have time to either kind of work out the structure of the game or make this monstrosity, and it's not good. So obviously they spent a lot of time thinking about Survivor. I'm grateful for that. I put it high just for what that represents.
Okay. All right. So we're going to get out our list and we're going to place it in one of our 4 tiers. Mike, could you describe the tiers again for our listeners?
Right. So we have the same 4 tiers that we did last time. Going from top to bottom, we have worth playing for, which means best of the best. This is a necklace worth playing for. Next down is my life is fine. This means this is, pretty good to okay. Ain't no Hershey bar means it's not great, but it's not the worst of the worst, which of course the worst of the worst is, to echo the great Crystal Cox, forget you, go home, goodbye, GTFO necklace.
Yes. Okay. All right. So here we are with our first necklace, and it's a little bit of a challenge for me to pick it out from the pile of necklaces before.
It's a memory test, which is a challenge within itself.
All right. So which tier do we drop this off at?
Yeah, this is a good question, and this is where it's going to come down to us for aesthetic versus like value/memorability. Because I think if you're judging it purely in aesthetics, it has to be forget you, go home, goodbye. Because this is just like the face it is making, I think shows how much pain it is in to be a necklace in particular. But if you incorporate that it's part of the first season, it might raise its stock a little bit out of that bottom tier.
Yeah.
Rob looks like he's having so much fun just dragging it around.
Well, where's it going to go? Yeah.
I see my life is fine for it.
I think my life is fine for the first immunity necklace, the Survivor Borneo immunity necklace. Let's see if it gets pushed down from the other stuff.
That's the thing as well. We're going to do a bit of an audit at the end to, I think, move stuff up or down depending on how everything else sits as well.
Okay.
The seriousness with which you take this will continue to kill me. Just letting you know. It's not going to stop the whole podcast. All
right. Let's bring in then our second necklace. Mike, what do we have to look at next?
Well, let's stick with the odd as we go to the next odd numbered season. We are going to Survivor Africa Season 3. I've always called this one like the color forms necklace. I don't know, Shannon, if you had color forms in Australia, but it is one of the only like fabric necklaces that we have in this list, and it is an image that I will always remember personally.
Shannon, do you know what a color form is?
I don't know what it is. What is it?
So color forms were sort of like they're sort of like
plastic stickers.
Yeah, like plastic stickers, but they were like clinging, so they weren't like stickers. You could like throw them onto like a placemat to almost like play with them as a kid. So this is what this sort of reminds me of, like a little piece of plastic you would get in a kit and like throw onto, your like Polly Pocket kit that you got for Christmas.
Yeah. So if I
still don't understand what it is, but I'll look it up after.
So to describe what this is for our listeners at home, like imagine like a big it's kind of like almost like a something that you would throw on your lawn that would be like a big Nerf frisbee with a hole in the middle, with a little bit of a stem underneath it. So and then sort of like a little bit of like a triangles like jutting out from the inner circle.
It's a weird sort of like skin tag at the bottom in particular.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is definitely, the Australia one is not necessarily anything to write home about, but this is something that I always sort of remembered, not even for the shape of it, but because it's cloth. Like I do have images in my head of like Lex wearing it and it being very warped and floppy, which you don't necessarily expect from immunity necklaces.
Okay. But I do think in terms of comfort, like, are we awarding points for that? Because while like the Borneo one, as I said, looked really painful and would poke you, like this looks like it could provide warmth.
Yes.
Quite comfortable.
You feel like this could be, if you're going on a long flight, a neck pillow to maybe help you get a nap.
Yeah, and they were going on so many flights in Survivor Africa, so that's a good thing. I just
hot
feel like
rides, sure.
If you're looking for some sort of warmth or comfort, this could provide that. So it's kind of like winning a reward.
Right. It's like, you really have now an extra desire to go for this because like this is how you sleep at night now. Shrouded in comfort.
So. I mean, if it's cloth, like you could kind of fold it up like a pillow, like you said. So, I mean, there's some kind of dual purpose to it that I think should be rewarded. It's ugly as well, but.
Is there a clasp in the back or do you have to stick your head through the hole?
I believe there is a clasp in the back. I don't think like Big Tom with the toilet in All Stars.
Yes, I remember that well. Yes. So, okay. Did Big Tom get to stick his head through the hole of this necklace?
I believe he did, actually. I think he might have won one immunity challenge or something. So he said he has his experience with sticking his head through holes. But yeah, I do believe there was a clasp in the back from what I remember. I don't think you have to. I mean, God help anyone who has the big head that it turns into a headband instead of a necklace.
So that loses points for me.
Sure.
Because I think that if Jeff was having to hold it and someone was kind of trying to poke their head through and failing even, that to me would win points for just like iconicness. They'd probably edit it out, but it would be really funny in the moment.
Yeah.
But having a clasp makes it boring again.
It'd be great if Jeff could do like a ring toss for somebody of like the wins immunity, just throws it on their head. That would be one hell of a shot.
They'd edit out all the ones he didn't get. And
Jeremy Collins could do it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, like, that's leave that to the professionals.
All right. So should we put this on the board?
Yeah,
our Survivor Africa immunity. What would you even call this a necklace?
I mean, that's also a good thing. What do we
more of a tie than a necklace?
We define something that goes around the neck as a necklace.
This is a tie. You have completely reframed this for me. This is a very, very, very short
tie.
It's the immunity clip-on tie.
Yes. Okay. Because we've determined it has
this is a bib. This is
a bib. Yeah, like if you were going to have like a lobster dinner.
If there was a lobster reward, you get the immunity necklace, you put it around, and you wipe any butter on it.
Dual purposes, I'm telling you, there's a lot to be done with this. Like nothing that you would necessarily need on Survivor Africa.
Okay. All right. So time to place it on our list. Okay. Will it be better or worse than the Survivor Borneo idol? Let's go ahead and take a look here. All right. So our immunity bib, is it better or worse than the Borneo necklace?
That's tough because like now I would have initially said worse, but I think we have talked it up more so than maybe it was worth.
That's gonna happen to all of them though.
I don't know if it's better. It might be a little bit better than the Borneo one if we're being honest.
Better. Good.
No, I can't co-sign that. I mean, the Borneo one is the reason we have the jury format. Like, I can't be putting a
that's the narrative that you're creating.
Yeah,
and now it's canon.
Mark Burnett didn't say like, well, we were going to spend another couple of hours working on the immunity idol, but we decided instead to put that time into developing the jury system.
I thought that we were here to do something ridiculous that we would give meaning to. The meaning I've given is that the Survivor Borneo ugly immunity necklace is the reason we have a jury, and that should put it above an immunity bib.
All right, well then let me bring this up. Okay, here's my canon. Without an immunity bib, if while eating a reward, they might have gotten barbecue sauce all over themselves, in which case lions would have snuck into their camp and devoured them whole. So theoretically, that necklace has saved tens of lives.
And you think that tens of lives are more important than the jury format of Survivor, Mike?
Well, I think juries can sometimes outnumber tens of people, technically speaking. But I mean, that's a sort of a would you rather? Would you rather have people? It's a real trolley problem.
I know what I'm
jury or people get devoured by lions.
Yeah.
Do you think they would have canceled Survivor if that had happened? Because that will tip my feelings on it. Okay, so if there was no immunity bib, they all get killed by lions and Survivor is canceled in its third season. You have made a compelling point, Mike. And because we are committing to the bit, all right. Well, okay. No, let's
have fun. Let's live a little.
Yeah, come on.
Let
loose.
Yes. Okay. Good. And the immunity bib could have prevented Wu from getting barbecue sauce all over everything when he won those ribs in the auction.
Yeah, that necklace is so immaculate. Take a fat dip of that bib.
All right, let's keep going. Mike, where's our next stop in our immunity necklace tour?
Pretty short stop, actually, because we're going to the very next season. This is something that was pointed out to me by Justin Feinberg when I put the call out for responses on the Rob Has Patrons Facebook group. I had forgotten that the Survivor Marquesas idol is what it is, which is surprisingly like bulky and a little garish in its own right as well. So we're going to keep on keeping on with these old school necklaces.
Okay, all right.
Yes, I know you need to describe it to the listeners, but also describe it to me because I'm confused about what we're looking at.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at this. Mike, is this just the bottom of the necklace? Is there like a talisman at the bottom?
Yeah, I mean, so it's sort of what the Mr. Frowny Face was in Borneo, right? There's usually like a center thing in the necklace, and in this case, that is this thing.
Okay, so that is this thing. It looks like that it is a little wooden tiki at the bottom of a necklace. It has floppy ears like a dog, but big eyes with very tiny pupils like an owl. It appears to have a mustache, and then it looks like a face that is like, ooh, and then all the way down by the bottom, there is a tiny ball bearing, I'm not sure what that really represents behind.
That seems obtuse on your behalf, to be honest.
Yeah, and looks
Behind
like
his legs.
behind his legs, which are jutting out, very tiny legs.
All right, so I'll come right out and say
immaculately described. I have to say.
I will say what, of course, we're all thinking. This thing looks like a sex toy.
I was not thinking
that. Yeah.
You. Oh my gosh, how did you come to that conclusion? I'm so interested to hear your thought process.
I mean, I think the shape sort of, and also
what do you do with this?
I mean, listen, everyone has don't yuck anyone's yum. People might have. There's various ways you could use this for. I do worry about what seems to be like two piercing black and red talons curling around from different sides.
You shouldn't worry about it because it's not a sex toy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it has the talons.
But yeah, so this is a weird, like, chimera-like animal / totem, as Rob is describing it. I've completely forgotten about this until I looked back at this image.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to bin this because it was described by Rob as like an animalistic, multi-animal kind of form, and then Mike described it as a sex toy, and like kind of both of those things are true. So thinking of that. I'm hating this now. Mike,
yes.
You made me hate it.
Yes. Okay. All right. So we know how Shannon feels about this. I guess let's try to place this one onto our list. It is not memorable. I think one of the criteria for me is could I close my eyes and think back to the season and remember what the necklace looks like. I mean, this could basically be, we could find out after the podcast is over, hey, I totally pranked you guys. Right. This was not even a real immunity necklace.
Yeah, I found this on Etsy.
I found this on Etsy. This was Asher's project that he put together. Yeah. Okay.
Asher put together the dog sex toy?
Well, okay, please don't call it a dog sex toy.
No, that is what it's called.
Let's not put them both together.
But it is. But now that you're looking at it, that is what it is, right? So this is why I'm thinking that we should throw this in a fire.
Okay.
Just throw it in the fire.
All right. So let's go ahead and see if we can place it. I feel like I know where Shannon thinks it should go. Shannon, is this the correct placement in the forget you, go home, goodbye tier?
I think so. Like, even though it has, unintentionally created a new game, idol or sex toy, which I think is fun and maybe something we should be looking at as we go through the list. Yeah. I do think the animalistic qualities of it, everything we've talked about, the ball bearing, that just seems like it'll make it heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I hate
Good
it.
Center of gravity, though.
Yeah.
Keeps it from, flopping this way and that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to lose your balance while you're carrying around. That is the ultimate faux pas.
While you're doing what, though?
What
purpose are we talking about?
Voting.
I totally agree, though. I think this, unfortunately, hits the weird sort of Venn diagram of it's not memorable, and it really is just horrific looking.
And it's ratchet.
It's so it's large too. That's the thing, is that it's just,
oh my gosh.
Okay.
It's like so lengthy compared to, even look at that, as much as we talk about, again, the frowny face talisman, it is relatively smaller compared to like this thing, which looks like it measures probably about like 7 or 8 inches.
I have a lot of questions, and I want you to stop talking. Mike. I want to move on.
No wonder Jeff hates Marquesas this season.
Okay, all right.
I know that we talked about like the bib and dual purpose, but I don't want to get into that.
Let's see if I can get the general back on the line after a recent talking with T-Bird. Okay. All right. Mike, where's our next stop?
I don't know where this podcast is going to go, and it terrifies me.
Well, don't worry, Shannon. We are going someplace comfortable because we are going to the necklace out of this entire bunch that Rob has experience with. We are going to the Amazon.
Mike, that you skipped Thailand. I feel like that was a particularly memorable, like gold, just like half a hubcap necklace.
There's gonna be some later on that I think evoke a similar type of thing. So it almost is like Thailand in spirit. Plus, if we do a follow-up and we do the other 20, then we gotta have some ringers in there as well.
Okay.
As we have covered, Mike's system was really bad. So
All right.
I only picked the ones that looked most like sex toys. We have established this now.
All right. So
how does your brain get to these places? Anyway.
All right.
I just have questions.
Let's go ahead and talk about the necklace near and dear to my heart. It's the Survivor. Yes. Yes, one time literally. Here is the Survivor, the Amazon immunity necklace. What you're seeing here is in mint condition. Did not end up that way. This is the only immunity necklace which is destroyed during the season of Survivor. It got burnt in the fire. I believe that if you're taking a look at this, I'll describe it, but about a good 25% of the immunity necklace gets burnt in the fire. I believe that occurred on my watch. I believe that I was given a brand new pristine immunity necklace, and I do believe that it got no. Actually, it was on Christy. Sorry, it was on. Well, it was. You know what? Jenna gave it to Heidi, and once that was really it was a cursed immunity necklace at that point. Once it got passed around. Okay. All right. So the immunity necklace for Survivor, the Amazon. First off, you're going to start off, if you want to build this at home, start off with gluing a bunch of animal teeth to a rope. Okay, step one. Then also get like a big animal bone, and then you want that in the hanging down from the center. Then you're gonna around the outer lining an assortment of green feathers, and then jutting out from the center a assorted bunch of red feathers sticking out. So you want 6 red feathers sticking out.
So, Rob, talk to me about what it was like to wear this thing. Like, was it obtrusive? Was it like, because obviously,
itchy.
With feathers, I could imagine it's a bit itchy if it touches you in a certain way.
Yeah. So that it was, it did not bother me. I rather enjoyed wearing it. The problem is, if I look back, that I know you had a picture of me with the immunity necklace. So I was wearing a green T-shirt, which I actually came to hate, because earlier in Survivor the Amazon, we had a challenge where I had my arms tied behind my back, and I had to, for a good 10-15 minutes, work at ripping off large pieces of beef off that were dangling from a hook. And if only I would have had some sort of a garment that would have protected my shirt during that time, it would have kept the barbecue sauce off of my green shirt and kept it from smelling so terribly for the remainder of time I would have it, until it would then get burned in the fire.
You went through a lot, Rob.
Went through a lot.
I have some questions before I could kind of rank it. So the first thing is, just 4 idols into this. This is not the idol that I would have chosen to burn in the fire. So that's a bit unfortunate. But I want to ask, are these materials real? Because if so, it looks like they murdered just like a whole bunch of animals to get this. And as a vegetarian, I don't co-sign that.
I don't suspect the art department murdered any animals to make this.
That's good to know.
I would not
that changes things for me. Like, if they murdered a bunch of animals, I'm not on board.
I do not believe that animal sacrifice was involved with any of the productions of the immunity idol, but I cannot say for sure.
Otherwise, Joanna Ward would have had even a bigger problem with idols than she did in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. I mean, the fact that you won it, that's high up for me, Rob. Like, I love that. That's one of my favorite moments in Survivor history. Wow. The fact that you won, but also mostly that Mateo lost because he thought everyone had a crush on him.
It's a good challenge.
Iconic. It's a great challenge.
It's not aesthetically a particularly great immunity necklace.
I think, there's going to be one coming up that, for lack of a better term, I do feel like this one walks, so that one could fly in a manner of speaking.
Before exactly. It was murdered.
But I do think there is some acknowledgement here as like the first feathered one. And I do think this is also one of the first ones that like calls to the cultural aesthetic as well. And I really just feel like whether fake or not, you are pulling from wildlife and, birds that are found within the jungles of the Amazon rainforest that may not be anywhere else.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can place this on the board as we try to figure out where it should go. All right. So let's take a look at our list of immunity necklaces and figure out what tier should it go on. And the first question is it better than the Marquesas dog? What are we calling it?
No.
The dog sex toy, the DST.
It's called that. You can't change things that are canon. We're really creating some sort of survivor lore here.
Yeah, now Mark Burnett's like, oh, maybe we should have gotten rid of the jury system. I would spend more time making sure that these things didn't come out this way.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Now we can start ranking what is more important: the survivor jury system, idols that prevent people from being murdered, or not creating dog sex toys.
Okay, so it's better than
only like 30 minutes into this podcast.
Then DST. All right.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah, better than DST.
Okay, do we move it up to the Ain't No Hershey bar tier?
See, I really like this one.
Okay.
For me, like this, it's just, I need greater confirmation about the animal murder because like that's really going to make a difference for me. But just assuming that
they did not murder an animal, then
I can
assure you that I can't say that if the feathers are real or not, but I do not believe that the bones are real.
Okay. So that makes a difference for me. I can't believe that the bib is first. Should this be first?
I think this should be first.
Wow. Okay. I mean that historically that it did have a memorable moment of that it was nearly burnt to a crisp in the fire.
Let's also remember that to your point, Rob, this is the first one to be passed off to somebody else, which will make for more iconic moments in Survivor history.
And yet you didn't put the Micronesia one on the list, but that's something we can talk
Amazon
about.
Came first.
Also, can I make a request to our listeners? Could I get a meme of how it's going versus now with the immunity necklace from Survivor the Amazon before it was burnt and then after?
I love it. That's like a perfect microcosm. Like, screw this is fine, dog. I think this is the new meme.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yes. Also, yes, could we get the this is fine dog in the Survivor Amazon camp as
wearing
it's burning?
Necklace.
Yeah, wearing the necklace.
Yeah, you guys were the original This Is Fine dog in the Amazon, coming back like seeing your cat bird down saying
This is fine dog sex toy. Yes. Okay. All right.
Imagine if someone's jumping into the podcast now.
I don't think people are jumping in 37 minutes.
Yeah,
this is a good place.
That's why on podcasting you have to hear. If you're just joining us, we're talking with Mike Bloom and Shannon Gus. It is 6 o'clock Pacific time here as we're going through our top 4 necklaces in Survivor history. All right.
Okay, so it would be ridiculous for someone to jump into a podcast, but it's not ridiculous that we've coined dog sex toy as something that's clearly going to be part of the
less ridiculous.
People at least start podcasts on at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Best you could hope for is somebody fell asleep and woke up just now. Go back to sleep.
Which kids are like,
it's not worth it.
All right. I'm weird ass dreams.
Sorry about the dreams. Sorry. Okay. All right. Let's look at our next chronological immunity necklace, and we'll go 1 season later into Survivor's future.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't want to put the cart before the horse here. This is going to be far and away my number 1 necklace of the entire series that we're doing here. It is the Pearl Island Sword and Scabbard.
But is it a necklace?
It's not a necklace.
It's not a necklace.
None of those things were necklaces.
But it was coined a necklace. Exactly. Like, is a bib a necklace? Is a tie a necklace?
Is a sex toy a necklace?
Yes. That they go around your neck. Does this go around your neck?
It can if you tighten the straps.
Whoa. Let's see. Shannon, is the immunity sword a necklace?
What is a necklace? I think we're long enough into the podcast now where we can ask that question. What defines necklace? This is something that you would wear like kind of across your chest. Yes. But if you wanted to, you could wear it around your neck. It would be uncomfortable, but you could do that. And I have to agree with Mike. Like, this is iconic. This is probably one of the only necklaces in inverted commas that you could show me and I would know what season it's from. Yeah. Heavily leans into maybe the best theme in Survivor history, such a conceptual season. It's a weapon, which was a weird choice.
Yeah, and not only that, it's 2 weapons. I forgot, and this picture proved it. Not only is there a sword, apparently there's a gun.
There's a pistol.
Yeah. So
That's a bad idea.
That's kind of dangerous. It's also a terrible sex toy, if that's how we're ranking things now.
Mhm.
But I still think just due to iconicness, which is the list, like you'd put it really high up.
Yeah. Okay. Does the sword come out? And then second question, does the pistol come out?
Yeah, I don't know if these were usable weapons. I don't know. We'd have to converse, I guess, like ask Rupert or ask Sandra. Oh, I guess Sandra never won it. Ooh. Well, I know Rupert won it, which is another reason why it's iconic, right? Because like he was one of the first to win the necklace, and of course the consummate pirate in the pirate season, gets the sword and raises it in triumph. But yeah, I'd be intrigued to see if these were real cutlasses and pistols that they were working with.
Yeah.
I think the fact that Lil wasn't pushed to like a full murder spree means that you can't unattach these weapons.
Well, why do you think that I don't know how to use this gun? What? You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, Lil has that. I forgot Lil has that sharpshooter badge that she was nearly on Top Shot with Colby after her season.
Yep. Mike, which Survivor Pearl Islands character would it be most surreal to see them draw the pistol?
Definitely Dara. Or Krista, like, what are you doing?
What is she saying? What is she saying? She seems agitated. She definitely wants something.
Exactly. Or Krista, like, Frey,
Oh my God.
I'm gonna shoot you.
All right. So I guess let's place the sword and the gun. Boy, you could play a game of Clue with these Survivor Pearl Islands.
I'm sure they distracted themselves all the live long day playing Clue on the beaches of the Pearl Islands.
Okay. All right.
I do also think like it's pretty good that Sandra didn't win it, because I could see her just kind of like belting Johnny Fairplay with it at times.
Yeah.
I mean, should they have given these people weapons? Where's the OH&S about this? You know? Do you guys have OH&S?
I was gonna say, what does that stand for?
Occupational health and safety?
I don't think so.
I don't think America and occupation really go together.
Yeah. Sounds promising. Okay. All right. So better than DST.
Well, definitely better than DST. I mean, I'll just throw it out there. I think this has to be top tier.
You want it all the way, all the way at the top. Okay, number 1 with a bullet for the Pearl Island pistol
and a stab.
And sword.
For sure. Worth playing for as an idol. Forget You Go Home Goodbye as a sex toy. And now we're doing both of the rankings. You can't stop it.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, listen, it is by far like also the most unique. This is the only necklace to outright be, like
necklace.
Exactly. Just it broke the mold from that perspective. It's the point where we never see it again.
Also, 100% no animals were harmed in the making of this one. I appreciate
leather strap.
that.
I don't know.
Harms animals.
Guys, I don't like that.
Okay.
Well, actually, so speaking of animals, let's jump ahead a bit here. And I apologize, Shannon, because these are parts that indeed did come from an animal, but it does stay on themes. We're going to go to season 10. We're going to Survivor Palau. Now, Survivor Palau was a very shark-focused season, and not just because they were being caught, but it was a theme in the aesthetic of the season, and that gets included here on the individual immunity necklace, which I think is simple, but very hard-hitting.
Okay, to our podcast listeners, we have what appears to be one half of a shark's mouth filled with teeth from side to side, very sharp, potential ouch, do not touch. On the underside of the shark jaw, there are what looks like more shark teeth, perhaps from a bigger shark, that line the bottom of that. There are beads that adorn both sides of the necklace, 2 sort of soccer ball looking beads, followed by 2 orange beads, and topped off by a bead that one might mistake for a blueberry.
And maybe they did if they got hungry enough.
Okay.
That's how one of them choked to death. Not
so
often
the
talked about.
aesthetic of this is a little simplistic in its design. It doesn't nearly have as many like baubles and trinkets as a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about. But that being said, it's half of a freaking shark's jaw.
Do you think it's a real shark jaw?
I would imagine. I don't know, actually.
Because I don't like that. Like I
think it is. Bad. Yeah, I don't know how you make a fake shark jaw.
Okay, so you think a shark was actually like this is a real shark, Joel?
Right, but I could imagine it's something where like they go to a dive shop, and if they had like shark bones lying, because I can imagine these are also
Shark
things.
bones.
Well, I can imagine like these are things that like tourists might want to hang from their walls as well, which I don't know
Oh, I
how
hate that.
how
I
much
hate
that
that.
contributes to the overall assessment of this. But it's definitely a striking image. This is definitely one that I remember as well, considering that like you are wearing a mouth around your mouth, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
I have a con and a pro. So my con is that there was an Australian Survivor tribe immunity that was just like a cow skull, which was kind of, I guess, like herd immunity before herd immunity was really a thing.
Actually, speaking of swords, I believe one of the Australian Survivor immunity idols was a sword last season.
Yeah, they again, OHS not great in terms of these idols, but so I think this similarly will haunt my nightmares. My pro is that at least it's smiling, like unlike the Borneo one, at least it seems happy.
Yeah, but that's only because of how it's hung. It could be upside down and be a frown.
But it's not, because it's a necklace.
They literally turn that frown upside down.
Yeah. I guess it wouldn't be happy because it's being murdered to have this necklace.
The one element that I question is the choice of deciding to line the bottom of the jaw with more shark teeth. It feels like it's not really in line if you're trying to go for the aesthetic of a shark jaw to also have teeth outside of it. Like it's, yo, dog, I heard you like shark teeth, so I put shark teeth on your shark teeth.
Yeah, you reach diminishing returns with the shark teeth. Because I want to pitch something, because I was thinking the beads were a little unnecessary. Like you've got shark teeth, and then you have like craft beads that you would get in like a children's play kit. So do you think if you took out the beads, now we're redesigning, you take out the bottom shark teeth, and you just have that really singular shark jaw, that would be like, I think it would have quite a presence about it.
Right. So interestingly enough, while we talk about it being one of the more simplistic ones, it's almost too complicated in that regard.
Yes, the double shark teeth have made it too garish. Personally, for me, I don't love the idea of jagged shark teeth right around my jugular.
That's very true. I mean, I don't know. Hopefully they didn't sharpen them. I guess maybe depending if there was someone they didn't like, they might have sharpened them up before giving them over.
Okay. All right.
And it's not as dangerous as some of the other ones we've seen.
Not as dangerous as the sword and pistol.
Yeah, this is not good for the vegetarian in me, so I'm not going to put it super high. I don't think a lot of thought went into the design.
Okay.
I think it could have been a more thoughtful design, even with the murder.
More so about, is Janu on the jury despite quitting? It always comes back to the jury system.
All right, let's see where
less thought the better. Think about the
potentially
game.
Place this. And so I guess the first competition it's going to run into here, is it better or worse, higher or lower than our friend the Marquesas DST?
I like that we're abbreviating it for the family-friendly version.
I mean, yeah, you've got DST, then you've also got SDT, Sandra Diaz Twine. I know which combination of those letters I enjoy more.
Yeah, so I definitely think this is better. I think my question is, should it be bumped to Ain't No Hershey Bar? Because I think it's definitely, I don't know if it's better than like the Borneo, Africa, Amazon trio.
So Shannon, you think it's so bad that it should be right next to the Ratchet DST?
I think it should be Ain't No Hershey Bar. I'm just like, look at our criteria.
On its own tier, right.
It's not a double, it's not extra purposes. You can't write it as
outside the box.
It's a bad sex toy for sure. Like, I think that, what else is it giving to you? Other than just being, I think
it's a really cool idea that when you take a closer look at it is maybe not as executed as effectively as you might think.
Okay. All right.
It's also FFDST, fan favorite dog sex toy.
Oh boy, well, certain fans.
Okay. All right.
It's actually OFDST, only fan favorite.
Ozzy is an immunity threat.
Oh Lord. Oh boy. All right. Well, we're actually going to move into the very next season here. We are not bed hopping too much because we're going to go to Survivor Guatemala. And we are talking about a very interesting necklace that, again, I forgot about until it was brought up. But it is, I mean, essentially, if I called the Africa Immunity necklace the Color Forms idol, this is the candy necklace idol.
Okay. All right. Well put, Mike. Let's describe it for our listeners at home. Okay. We have here, it looks like some sort of a green, color me mine piece that somebody made. It is kind of like a Medusa face who is making a very unhappy look. Kind of has like ears jutting out from the side of it, wearing orange lipstick. It really does not look happy at all. It's wearing
because the color is totally red, not orange.
Yeah. Is wearing some sort of a helmet with sort of a big circle sticking out of the center, third eye of sorts coming out of there. There's also a part that juts out of the head. I'm not sure if that's part of the helmet. And then, as Mike mentioned, that there are a number of blue beads that make up the necklace part of this that could look like that maybe in another world could be candy pieces if you wanted to bite into it.
I hope someone tried.
Judd did.
So
I can imagine.
I mean, if the Borneo,
candy necklace, man.
Piece of candy. If the Borneo necklace was sad, like this necklace is horrified. Like this necklace is seeing like its family die in front of it.
It's seen some stuff, absolutely. Which I think,
this is
given the ultimate fate of the Maya, I do think that does make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Mike, I don't know what to do with this necklace.
I see this. Yeah, this is why I wanted to bring it up, because it's such an interesting talking point. Because what I remember is like,
they didn't make this though.
As a necklace, like it's actually not very good. Like I remember it actually being very flimsy and actually not very easy to get on and off during Survivor Guatemala. So it like doesn't even work as a necklace. I'm just so astounded by, again, like the choice to surround each and every inch of it with beads, not just sort of do what the shark necklace did, which was just create the hint of beads using like 3 or 4 a piece. This is filling the entire thing, sizing it up in particular all the way around, which is just such a weird choice. And again, the 90s kid in me cannot help but go back to like those disgusting candy necklaces that people would chew and just leave soggy string.
I think it's like Legends of the Hidden Temple.
That's it as well. I do definitely get an Olmec vibe here. This definitely does seem like one of the pendants that you would go for as the temple guards pop up and scare you.
I definitely do think this necklace that we've seen, like of all the ones we've seen so far, is most likely to be like a cursed object. That like something needs to trigger it for something very cursed to happen. But they didn't make this necklace, did they? Like, because how would they have done? Like, I feel like they just got this like off like a tourism spot and just bought it straight.
Yeah, you think they're just going to sort of like shops at the airport on the way?
Yeah,
no, I'm actually pretty sure there was a young art director by the name of Peter Brady who found this in the jungle and decided to take it back to camp with him.
Okay, all right. Well, let's take a look at our list and let's see
I'm
where
so
we can
intrigued
place
to
this
see
one.
where this ends up going, because this is such a weird one, and I think we need to figure out where weirdness sort of falls within all this.
Okay, so here it is.
Definitely a necklace though, and should it get points for like some other ones aren't necklaces?
It's definitely better than DST.
Yeah, because again, this also I think gets some buffers in that, much like the shark jaw, it like has calls to the theme of the season as well in the specific location. Like I don't think we're gonna have any other seasons that have a Maya-esque totem on it.
Okay, does it get to the Ain't No Hershey bar tier?
Just for me.
So you think right below the shark jaw?
Yeah.
I think that's a good place. I think that the shark jaw is something I remember more. Like again, much like production regarded Survivor Guatemala up until last season, sort of forgotten, I think, in the annals of Survivor history. And so I think it does make sense if it gets a little bit of a hit, because it is interesting looking, but I do think it unfortunately does not necessarily reverberate a lot in the minds of Survivor viewers. Plus, or the Mayans, and plus aesthetically, it's just it has some questionable choices behind it.
Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and let's look at our next necklace, Mike. What is it?
All right, well, we're still going to keep on going through consecutive seasons here. We're going to season 12, and remember what we said about simplistic aspects in these early immunity necklaces? That is out the window, much like One World, which we are not talking about. We are going to Survivor Panama. I'm going to call this the ZZ Top beard of immunity necklaces, because this thing goes like all the way down to your belly button.
Okay. All right. let's take a look at this one. We have here, this is, okay, we're going to start with imagine a wire circle necklace. Okay, fill that up with beads. Then on top of that, let's throw some animal bones on there. And
Why
then
not?
in the center, got sort of like a like tiny doll, which with like a baby doll head with some sort of a stick figure body coming out of that, and then just beads all over the place. And then also you want to have a lot of string and fabric coming down from this. This looks like something you might see somebody wearing at Burning Man.
Oh, and only wearing that at Burning Man. Because again, it can cover a lot of body mass.
Well, that's, I
Yes.
mean, it would give warmth. That's a dual purpose. But you know, like dream catchers?
Yes, it's a dream
This is
catcher.
a nightmare catcher.
Yes, very much. Well, because also I believe that the theme that wasn't really focused on in Survivor Exile Island was like a zombie theme, which I would imagine that little head, it might be like a shrunken head. For example, like if you remember the hidden immunity idol that season was a shrunken head. So maybe this is sort of like you see some bones in there. I don't know if those are human bones or animal bones or fake bones lying at the top there. So I think they're trying to go for this like voodoo witch doctor type of aesthetic here.
I'm trying to look at the facial reaction of the doll because, like, what she seems quite at peace. Like, what
sleeping.
would you? She's not happy or sad or traumatized like the last one. I think this is definitely a cursed necklace as well. And I would also say pick a lane. You go cursed doll, or you go animal bones, or you go tons of beads, or you go lots of string. But do you do all four? Do you do all of those things? No.
Yeah, I think this has to be probably the most like cumbersome necklace we're going to experience here, just because of the pure length of it. Like, I cannot imagine having to wear this around. Like, I would definitely hang this up at camp and leave it be for like the rest of the 3 days until I have to give it back to Jeff. It just seems like tough to wear around, you know?
Right. Is this my immunity necklace or is this a new tarp?
Yeah, very true. But to that point, this also might be one of like, you could see, like you said, Shannon, like this has a Dreamcatcher vibe to it. I could also see this being some sort of like necklace, like it's an extreme necklace.
What universe, Mike? Who's wearing this? No.
I could see someone wearing like an extreme version of this to a certain extent.
If anything, turn it around, it should be the immunity cape.
You're a superhero now.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, it's like, so this is Exile Island.
This is Exile Island, yeah. So
it's
basically,
crazy to think that cursed doll was Terry's only ally for like most of the merge.
Exactly, that was his best friend out there. And yeah, this is a crazy one in that much like the shark jaw, only 2 people wore this necklace over the course of the season. So even if there were complaints around wearing it, only 2 people had to experience it in the first place.
Okay, all right. Let's take a look at it on the big board to see where it should go. Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna be another interesting one because it is certainly memorable. Like, I do remember just how gargantuan.
I absolutely don't remember it, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, I have such a bad memory for these things. It's like, how did this not kind of strike more like an impact with me?
The question really is, what is not memorable for Mike Bloom, who I feel like has almost every moment in Survivor history that had a moment's recall?
That's such a good point. It doesn't mean anything anymore when you say it's memorable, Mike. Mike will be like, it's memorable, just like those like incredibly tiny details.
Yeah, just like second 7 of episode 4 of Survivor South Pacific.
That doesn't count anymore. You're not. It's not memorable.
Yeah, but I guess I have a different scale than other people.
Yeah.
Could it be worse than the DST?
No, I don't think so. Okay. I think what this has going for it is definitely above the DST. I guess. So
does it get to that ain't no Hershey bar tier?
For me, it does.
It does. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how this compares with 10 and 11. You know, we have all these in a row. Are they all going to finish in a row as well?
I just think that we have qualified the forget you go home goodbye tier so strongly as the dog sex toy that you'd have to be like really bad to get to that level. So for me, just by not being that, you kind of get up. That should almost be its own tier. That's what's becoming difficult for me. So I would put it at Ain't No Hershey Bar. Maybe I would put it here. Maybe I would do it in this order. Last and Ain't No Hershey Bar.
It's fine. Doesn't really do much for me.
Well, then it should be In My Life Is Fine.
Well,
no. Well, my Ain't No Hershey Bar is well. I mean, Rob is.
Ain't No Hershey Bar is fine. I'm saying these levels don't have meaning. The system is
Basically,
wrong.
yeah, but they're
Keep it
in ascending order, Shannon. That's what you have to remember.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take a look at our next necklace that you found, Mike. Okay. What's this?
All right, so we're going to not Cook Islands, but Cook Islands 2. That is to say, Survivor Fiji. And of course, it's appropriate, Rob, that you had dreams heard on Talking with T-Bird the other day, because this is the
Dreams
necklace that
Catcher heard.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. This is the necklace he so controversially won and did not choose to give up at the Final Four. This is one reason why, unfortunately, Thailand sort of bit the dust for this one, because this is sort of like a more spoopy version of Thailand. This is just, I mean, Rob, you don't even describe this. This is just straight up teeth. Straight up big old teeth.
Yeah, giant teeth. Imagine the ice spiders from the recent episode of The Mandalorian. Put that around your neck. That's what this is. Yeah.
This is a lot of really bad sex toys, and
or a really great night if you're going to invite certain people over.
Who?
Like,
you can invite so many friends over.
I love how we actually made you answer the question.
Yes.
We were just like, we're waiting. We're waiting for you to explain.
I guess to clarify, I don't know if these are teeth. They might be tusks. I feel like there might be a sort of like boar theme going on here.
Because I was like, what? Whose teeth are those? But it looks like teeth because there are so many. Like literally that's like a giant smile or frown, depending on which way it is. And I do feel that it contributed to some animal murder, possibly a lot of animal murder, which again, I don't enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And so pokey and no dual purpose, no warmth from it. And it's just like poking you. So I also
feel like, probably loud when you're walking around.
It's like a bell, like a cat with a bell, just like playing.
A lot of these things bumping into each other.
Yeah, but that means like you can really, if people want to get down and dance some mecha, you could do like a real ham bone type of thing.
Yeah,
you're wearing your own percussive instrument.
You would end up just like with scars all over your body.
Well, I think they're sort of dulled down a bit.
You'll impale your eye. Yeah,
I would also say.
Why would you think that? Like that's such an assumption for a show that gave a sword as an immunity necklace.
I mean, that's true as well. And then maybe it's every 7 seasons they put in a weapon, just to mix it up a little bit.
See what happens, yeah.
Exactly. I do think out of probably all, not only the necklaces we're talking about, but all necklaces, this might be the most minimalistic. Because again, like there's no additional things. They just took teeth/tusks of different sizes and put them around a rope and said, tie this around your neck. This is what you wear now when you're safe.
Okay. All right.
It's just that also the tusks go up so high. It's like the whole thing is tusk.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, is that there's not much to sort of like, there's no dangle to it. I do remember that it pretty much like, it's like a choker. It does go around your neck.
This is not like a sex toy, but this is like a different sex thing.
Okay. Let's look at the list. Let's see what's going on here. Okay. All right. Let's bring up our list and talk about our Fijian tusk necklace. Okay. All right. So the question is, will it surpass the Marquesas DST?
For me, it does, but I don't know if it gets up to the next tier.
Interesting. So you think it still might be Forget You, Go Home, Goodbye?
I just think, like, when you're creating a necklace like this, like, who would want to wear this? Like, they're just straight trolling. Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted it.
Yeah, he paid for it. But I just, like, it's punishing the contestants when it's already so hard to be on Survivor.
But if I may argue the case for it, it's different. They went outside the box. That I feel like that it is certainly memorable.
Yeah, that's what I think it has going for it as well. Like, I definitely have. Again, this is my, I guess, sliding scale. I definitely have images in my head of like Dreams having it around his neck, for example, or like the lingering shot of them leaving tribal council after voting out Yao Man, and like this necklace is sitting on the stomach. And maybe it also speaks to like how, I don't know, just how like how visceral that moment was, considering like it's a pretty visceral necklace as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember Yao Man, getting it and Dreams needing to give it up and then not, and then them voting him out. Like, I don't remember the necklace and doing that.
Yeah.
Though.
I mean, it has that history associated with it. I think it's better than the Exile Island necklace.
I would definitely say so. I think it's better than the Guatemala one as well.
Okay. All right. Oh, it's on the move.
I strongly disagree, though, but it's okay.
Where would you put it, Shannon?
I put it in Forget You Go Home Goodbye. Like, that's
Oh,
me.
wow.
I feel like it's just painful, but I'm happy to just keep the dog sex toy there for now.
How about this? Then why don't we split the difference? Why don't we put it at the back of Ain't No Hershey Bar, but still in this tier?
Okay.
So
we have room to play with it.
So far,
it's not necessarily set in stone.
10 seasons have just finished right after the other and Ain't No Hershey Bar.
Okay. All right.
Although it is valued at the price of a car.
That's true.
Can the other necklaces say that?
Super Duty. All right. Let's look at our next necklace. Mike, what are we looking at here?
We are going, so we're skipping ahead.
Micronesia.
We're skipping Micronesia. Don't at
me. That not memorable on the Mike Bloom scale.
We are going to Survivor Gabon, and after a little time away, we said Fiji super minimalist. We are back in the Panama opulence, if you were, with Gabon, which is just so much. There's so much going on with the Gabon necklace.
Yeah, there is a lot going on here. Imagine a autumnal wreath that you might have on your door this time of year, and then take a bunch of tikis and then glue them.
I think they're like African masks, I believe, like little African masks.
Yeah. Okay. So then go ahead and go to and raid the home of the Keisha from Big Brother and take all those masks from her wall, miniaturize them, stick them
use the shrink ray from Big Brother 22.
Yes, use the shrink ray. And then also throw a bunch of necklaces. This is a real grab bag mishmash here.
The thing that really gets me hung up is the straw. This thing is stuffed with hay. And if we talked about the feathers possibly causing a problem, the straw has to be this has to be the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of material on a necklace. Because I cannot imagine having to walk around with itchy straw all day.
Yeah, this is ugly and also, not comfortable.
Let's not ignore the obvious. Like, this is not a necklace. Where does it even go around your neck? Like, it's barely a necklace.
Your head sticks in the hole.
That's a tiny little hole.
Is there a clasp here, Mike?
I believe there's a clasp.
So the one thing I appreciate about it is I feel besides the Pearl Islands one, of all the necklaces we've seen, I feel this represents its season the best in that it's like a dumpster fire of a necklace.
That is true. It's a nice microcosm of like, wow, we don't know what's going on in Gabon, and neither does this necklace.
How's it gonna end? We don't know. Where does it start? Where does it begin? I don't know. Big explosion in the end. Yeah.
I'd like to add also that this necklace is also ratchet.
Yeah, I mean, it really just has. There's really there's not even symmetry going on with the African masks. They clearly just threw a bunch on there to see what happens. I mean, this is wow.
Is this the biggest eyesore that we've seen so far?
This is the junk drawer necklace. This really is, of just let's take all these little ding dongs and baubles and throw them onto something. I mean, we'll talk about probably immunity idols in a future podcast, but now I could honestly see Bob Crowley's fake idol falling in line with this aesthetic, even though this does way more than Bob's idol does.
Okay. All right, let's see if we can place this one on the board. So let's go ahead. Mike, well, how would you describe this Gabon wreath?
Yeah, I mean, I think wreath is a great way to describe it. I think it is less so something you would associate with putting around your neck and more so something you would put up on your door to be like, yes, I visited Kenya over the winter and I picked this up. It's all of the little things we picked up along the way in the savannah, and I've adorned it on my door.
Is there elephant dung in there?
Oh, Lord. Well, it would have started a nice fire if that was the case. So again, there's a lot of straw in there, so it probably is flammable AF anyway.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the Gabon wreath nail.
Yeah, come on, wreath. I mean, I'll be honest, this might have to be in Forget You Go Home Goodbye, in my opinion. I think because it's something that I don't remember even. I feel like it's garish, but not garish enough where I'm like, oh God, I remember how terrible looking it was.
Yeah. Is it Garish Adelstein?
It's eating chicken right now at the poker table.
So Shannon, all right, we're in the attack zone. The Gabon wreath versus the Marquesian DST.
I still think just for like, I mean, ironically, we're ranking things on iconicness, and clearly now the DST now is more iconic to us. But I think we should put that last, and we should put this above it because it's super, super ugly. But I don't think it's funnily ridiculous as the DST.
Yeah.
Is it above this tier? Is it in this same forget you go home goodbye? The season in which that line was uttered.
It deserves to be in its own season.
Yeah, it feels only right that it ends up resigning in this, and then it does go home. In fact, its home is this tier.
Yes. Okay. Next to the Marquesian.
That's a beautiful
DST.
story. It found its way home.
Go to your home. Yeah. Go to your home. Okay. All right. Now, Mike, what are we looking at here?
We're going to kick off another string of consecutive seasons here. We went back to Brazil, and we're going back to feathers. So we are going to the Survivor Tocantins immunity necklace.
Russell feathers.
Which actually was worn very memorably by someone who said that quote in a future season, because this is one that actually became a headdress for a brief portion of time. This thing is just feathers upon feathers with like some little tiki fascinators and like a big ass pendant in the middle of it. But it really took again, like I said before, it took the feather idea from Survivor the Amazon and just completely ran away with it.
Okay. Yes. All right. So we have sort of a hubcap in the center, which is going to be part of a maze, part of a chain with a number of other trinkets, sort of like a Pandora chain with some ornaments on the left, some skulls. I'm not sure if that's another version of a skull. And then feathers all the way around, red, blue, yellow, green, to round out the Survivor Tocantins immunity necklace.
I like this a lot. Like for me, I think I'm going to be putting this top tier. Not as high as the sword because the sword is super iconic, but like this is, I think, probably the best looking one we've seen. It's quite pretty with all the very vivid colors. I don't know if any animals were murdered in that, but I don't think so. Like I think that this hits a good kind of point between having quite a bit and having it be like quite a spectacle without then overdoing it.
Yeah.
Like we've seen some idols that have this and then 15 other things where it kept it to the feathers and a couple of little trinkets. It's very pretty.
Yep. I mean, I think you can understand now why JT won unanimously, because he won the necklace so many times and he would tickle people with it to really get everyone's spirits back in camp.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is I totally agree with you. I mean, I don't want to skip ahead to the rating. I would put this probably second behind the sword. Because I think it is an iconic immunity necklace. I think it helps that Tyson did indeed wear it as a headdress that one time. And I think the aesthetic behind it is really cool. Like really, really cool.
I kind of want this.
Whoa. Okay.
No,
it sounds like to me though, if I'm listening to you, if I'm like the immunity necklace focus group, sounds like that feathers are a big win. If I'm the art department here, I'm thinking, how do we get more feathers in the immunity necklace? Sounds like that feathers are a big hit.
Well, I think it helps that we're kind of say farewell to feathers after this. That, feathers really only apparently appear when you're in Brazil. So I think the fact that we really haven't seen them, much like a shark jaw or something, like we're going to see so many tiki heads in Survivor history that like they're so run of the mill. So when you see something like a feather, like, oh man, I haven't experienced this. Like, let me take it in as much as I can because I know I'm never going to see this again.
All right. So I think that this is probably going to go up to my life is fine at the very least, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Better than the Borneo bare bones finger paint.
Yeah,
idol.
feathers beat bare bones.
Okay. All right. Better than the immunity bib from Survivor Africa.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
This would be a bib, in some way.
Okay. Does the student now become the teacher, and does it pass the original feather necklace from Survivor the Amazon?
Not only does it become the teacher, Rob, it becomes the coach. I think it passes.
Yes, well done.
It's the knowingest know it idol.
Okay, does it go to the worth playing for tier?
I would say so. Yeah.
Okay, is it better than Pearl Islands?
No, I think its trajectory stops there. I think just the sword is just so cool that I think, as nice as it is to look at the Tocantins one, like just the novelty, I think, of the sword and scabbard is going to put it almost like in a tier on its own.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Tocantins, stop right there at second place. Okay. All right. Let's look at our next
I love
idol.
Tocantins second place. So
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah, I think the someone who once called this podcast an outrage would be
Yes.
a very fitting finish.
Okay.
yeah, and it's
All right.
right because it's like it's great. It did so well, but it's like, can you beat the amazingness of first place? Difficult to do that, but that shouldn't take away from how well second place is done.
All right. Mike, what are we going to look at next?
So we're going with another one, a bit of an out of the box one, because this one goes super simplistic. We're going to the very next season, and while the focus has been around the immunity idols in Survivor Samoa, the immunity necklace is, I think, definitely something worth discussing, because even though it does not feature Sandra Diaz twine, it features a hell of a lot of twine as a feature.
Okay. This one is super ugly. This is like a fishing hook attached to a vine with some little tiles hanging off of it and some animal teeth wrapped up in string. It is all brown and up against this wooden post. Almost difficult to see that there is a hidden or a necklace here. Maybe that's why Russell was so good at finding the idols, because it was hard enough to find the necklace this season.
Camouflaged.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Also
this
a weapon.
the thing that it really drew me to this is the describe them as sort of tiles, Rob. They look to me just like tags.
Like dominoes.
They forgot to take the price tag off of the necklace when they brought it at the flea market.
Like if you walk out of the gift shop and they don't take this thing off, the alarm is going to go off.
Exactly. So they're like, oh, we don't have the thing to remove it. Like, oh no, the ink's going to spill if we cut into it. I guess we'll just leave the tags on the necklace.
Leave the tags. I like to live dangerously in case I want to return it.
Yeah,
okay.
So this is one that I didn't necessarily remember, because again, I think the hook aspect was actually something that carried over to a lot of the idols that season, but the tags are just so confounding to me personally.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say it's very ugly. Like, it's very drab. It's got no color.
Boring.
And that's almost worse, like you would rather something was like horrifically ugly, I think, than just like so plain.
Yeah, again, it's that Streisand effect.
Go big
this
or
is
go
like
home.
The Who of the idols? No.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. They mailed it in on the Survivor Samoa.
The Lisa Kiefer Award of immunity necklaces.
Yes. Not even memorable to Mike Bloom. Okay. All right. So
Mike's like, I remember this exact moment. Mike knows, but for everyone else, it's not memorable.
All right. Let's look at our list here and see where the hook necklace from Survivor Samoa is going to land on our list. Does it crack the bottom tier, the forget you, go home, goodbye tier?
I think it might.
It doesn't deserve to be as low as something as memorable as forget you, go home, goodbye. You need more presence about you, I think, to be that bad.
Okay. Is it better than the Fijian tusk necklace?
I don't think so.
I think it is probably. I mean, it's just nothing. Like,
you have your own agenda.
You hate the tusk necklace.
I hate the tusk necklace.
Yeah, at least
it pains me to look at.
What I'll say again about the tusk necklace, at least they tried. At least they came up with something. This was, like, hey, bring me the tackle box.
Exactly. This could legitimately look like a fake immunity necklace that someone made with some fishing gear and an afternoon off.
Didn't you create an idol that was meant to look like a fake idol and then get it tattooed on you?
Well, yeah, we will get to that on a future podcast. I think there is a special tier worth the idol that I picked to go into the game of Survivor 39.
Okay.
I just think that it's so met that it should be like right in the middle. Like, it should be a place where you would miss it, kind of going through the tiers.
But this is the most iconic immunity necklace, and I would rather, have things. I'd rather bury it down here than even give it like a recognition for being so terrible.
I think we should put it in the middle of the Ain't No Hershey bar tier, because then it's like, we'll just kind of gloss over it.
No, I still like the Panama and Fijian necklaces more than this one, though.
Okay.
That's fair. Okay. Well, I've been outnumbered, clearly. So that's fine.
All right.
It's okay. Didn't stop Russell from being outnumbered.
That's true. I've now played in
immunity. Alive for Samoan necklace. Okay.
All right. So let's jump ahead. Let's go to the 20s here and let's church it up in a manner of speaking, because I think we're going to talk about the only
Were all-star seasons not eligible for your list, Mike?
I want to see, maybe heroes versus villains might be one to touch upon in a future installment.
Well, actually, I think it's an interesting point, because I feel like that in a lot of these seasons that we're talking about, that the immunity necklaces are sort of evocative of the culture of the season that we're at, whereas the all-star seasons are a little bit more, the theme is all-stars.
Right, exactly. So like Survivor All-Stars, for instance, was basically just a necklace with a bunch of coins on it that really just did not look very good. The Micronesia, again, was just like a bunch of tikis because they had already been to Palau before. Heroes versus Villains was interesting. It was basically just a bunch of tikis squished next to one another with like a surprise green one sticking out of it. But I want to go to Survivor Nicaragua because I believe this is the only necklace so far that has incorporated a piece of, I'll say, religious iconography into it. It's a very interesting piece of, it's not the gold that Thailand provides, but it's gold in a different way. And as Eve said, once upon a time, and receiving the Medallion of Power, winners carry gold.
Okay, all right.
Is this the only podcast where we're like, we're going to be skipping over heroes versus villains and going straight to Nicaragua?
Yeah, it's now on Netflix. We'll skip over that one. Okay, no spoilers for that one. All right, so what we have here is that the cross of Coronado that Indiana Jones thought one time should belong in a museum is at the center of what looks like a belt of pennies, which adorn the large cross crucifix in the middle. Is it a crucifix? Is it if there's no Jesus? Shannon, you're
you're Catholic.
Yeah.
As a Jew, I have no comment on this. I feel I want to.
It's a cross. It's a cross. I think maybe
I know. I don't want to I don't want to say anything about it. Of the whole necklace, as a Jew, I want to avoid a lot of stereotypes about how this is damaging for me.
If you were Nicaragua and you had won the necklace, would you have given it up, a la the aforementioned Joanna Ward of like, I cannot wear this?
Because of all the money or because of the cross?
The cross.
Okay, because it's not great. It's not a great necklace for Jews. I'm gonna say as a Jew.
Were there any Jewish contestants in Survivor Nicaragua?
I don't believe at the final 12. I don't believe there were.
Do you think how offensive this necklace is? Changed the casting, that they were like, we can't put a Jew on with this incredibly offensive necklace.
Well, to be fair, that I don't know necessarily if what the cross necessarily meant in Nicaraguan culture. I'm not sure.
I did also forget that, of course, Benry, devout Orthodox Jew on Survivor Nicaragua, of course.
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure. That being said, it's nice.
It's such an interesting idea, because I mean, this is where they really steered into a lot of the symbolism in this. Like, I remember LaFleur had of course, fleur de lis on it, which would become
is that an idol?
Exactly. So if only Adam Klein had played in Nicaragua when he was like 10 years old, then it would have been a very different situation with him trying to play his own buff. But it definitely is one of the most prominent centerpieces of a necklace that we have experienced. But yeah, I think maybe the unsung part of the necklace are indeed all of the pennies that just seem to be around this. Like, they fished through a wishing well at the local Nicaraguan mall and just pasted them on.
Yeah, Penny Otwell.
This looks like it would be a loud one as well. This is definitely the cat with the bell one.
Yeah, this and the Tusk can join their own little street band to make some music.
Okay.
I half expect that to be the next task in the Amazing Race. It's like, you've been given these necklaces. Form a band.
Yeah, next to the garbage cello.
Okay. All right.
It's like a tambourine a little bit, kind of.
It kind of does look like a tambourine.
Yeah, can you play it?
I think
it's like a religious tambourine.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it really takes you to church, in a manner of speaking.
Okay. All right. So I guess let's talk about where it should go.
A lot of these I'm feeling like I feel very meh about it. Is it coming from the Tocantins' bright colors to this very drab coloring that I'm just like, it's not doing it for me?
It also might not help that these are the seasons that are not well regarded as well. Do the necklaces go part and parcel with that?
Okay. So let's go ahead and see if we can rank our Nicaraguan cross penny belt. Okay. So it would be, I don't know if it would work as a belt.
I mean, I don't know. I think any of these could work as a belt as long as you tied it off properly.
Certainly the holster.
They barely work as necklaces. Like, this doesn't look like it would sit well on like the human form.
Okay. All right. So our Nicaraguan cross. Okay. Does it escape forget you, go home, goodbye?
I think so.
I think
Okay.
I think it's unique enough and not like garish enough that I think it does escape that tier.
Okay. Does it beat the Samoan fishing hook?
I think it does. I think it's less camouflaged and more outstanding than the Samoan fishing hook and tags.
Again, with the gold cross of Coronado and the pennies, it does feel like it's treasure.
Right, exactly. Like it feels like that theme, that unintentional theme of Nicaragua was like sort of basing conquistadors, right? We'll get to this maybe in a future podcast, but the tribe immunity idol was literally like a bust of a conquistador. So a lot of their stuff was all about drawing into that theme of gold and treasure.
I also think, like, you know, let's talk about the canon here. Let's talk about that production meeting where it's like, we're going to either go with Medallion of Power or fire tokens. They go with Medallion of Power. They don't have anything else to do with the fire tokens. They attach it to the necklace.
Oh, interesting. Yes, so you're saying the fire tokens are part of this
Could you break this off? Yes.
You get so much peanut butter with this necklace.
Okay.
This is like Natalie level of fire tokens.
All right. Is the Nicaraguan cross necklace better than the Fijian tusk necklace?
To me, it is. But you know, I hate the tusk.
Yeah, I know. I don't think so personally.
You don't think so?
You way too high on the tusk, Mike.
I like the tusks.
It's the wrong take.
The tusk has a musk, and I'm smelling it.
Whoa.
Okay, you've made me hate it more. I'm going to have to argue to put the tusk down a tier now.
Yes. Okay,
why? Because I said the phrase "the tusk has a musk" and I'm smelling it.
Yeah.
Because hashtag tusk musk.
Okay. The tusk has a musk, and I'm smelling it. Mike Bloom.
2020.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead, Mike. What do you have next for us?
So we're skipping ahead. I apologize to those of you that were waiting to talk about Redemption Island, South Pacific, and One World. They will not be talked about in form. We are going to Survivor Philippines, which saw a resurgence not only in Survivor proper, but in the necklaces, because we have a sort of like, I would say like Survivor goes Egypt a bit here with probably the biggest necklace we have seen since Panama.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can describe what's going on here with the Survivor Philippines necklace. So we have 3 levels here of I don't think it's tusk.
No, I don't smell anything.
Yeah. Yes. So but it looks like 3 levels of like a circular horn, which it looks like there are engravings all across, but more interestingly, the underneath the circular horns, we have a piece that connects in the center to, I don't know exactly what this is. It looks sort of like a red marble billiard ball in the center, blood red.
They took the 12 ball from the Ponderosa and just decided to put it on the immunity necklace.
Yeah, maybe it's sort of, it looks like that if you had 50 cents at the supermarket and got like a super high bounce ball out of there, and it was blood red, that's what it would be. Are those whales on these sides?
I think they're either whales or, because they did have the whale watching reward, so maybe they're whales. They're definitely fish of some kind.
Okay. And then underneath, we have sort of like a little dangly mini dream catcher.
This looks so heavy. Like, I feel like when Malcolm won this, coming from Matt Singh, it was like, remove the stone of shame, attach the stone of triumph, and just putting it around his neck. So it loses points for that because I genuinely feel like you would be buckling under it. But to me, it's visually pleasing. More visually pleasing than most of the idols so far.
I would say this is probably the thing that you would see like at Fashion Week, right? Like I could see this being
I've been to a lot of Fashion Weeks, Mike, and I don't know what you think Fashion Week is, but I've never seen this before.
I'm assuming it's just a week where I go to Old Navy and I buy a bunch of fashion for Fashion Week. But yeah, I think this is
something. You have anything in a tusk?
Exactly. Where's your tusk section?
Hmm.
I think this is something that legitimately looks like a piece of jewelry, though. Like that could be worn outside of the game of
It's
Survivor.
pretty.
Yes.
It's pretty. It's unfortunate that there's so many levels to it that it just looks so heavy. Like I don't think they needed the 3 levels above. It could have just been the necklace coming down
Right, like
into the incredibly heavy
concentric
band.
circles.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah.
But I still think it's much more visually appealing than almost any other thing we've seen.
Yeah, it's
I
a
will
good thing
say,
that
as someone who's been to Fashion
Denise
Week,
didn't win this necklace because I think that she would have toppled over.
She did win it once, but I think luckily she was fine enough, I suppose.
Oh, okay. It was a men's and a women's. Did they break? How'd they do that? How'd they break
how
it
did
up?
they do that?
That was the well,
They
I
had
think
two of them?
they just had 2 of them, yeah. And so she won one. Maybe she got a lighter one, and Carter got the heavier one, which he himself probably would have toppled over considering how skinny he
Carter.
was.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I don't know what we're doing with this. I also feel like that red ball in the middle. I feel like that this is sort of like a curse necklace, like where
Yeah,
Amulet.
you
I
put
feel
it
like,
on.
yeah, this is like something where you trap like the Sultan's soul in it, you know, when you
Yes.
listen to it.
Yes, it's like putting on the ring in Lord of the Rings, and you just become like a very evil person.
Yeah, this is very much the Eye of Sauron contained inside of a Philippines necklace.
I think
Okay.
that would make it even heavier just having all the souls in it as well. So,
All
but
right.
it's pretty. For me, it's going to go high. I'm telling you.
I think it's going to go pretty high. I think this is going to be our first one in a while to at least get up to the My Life is Fine tier.
All right. Let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the Philippines. What do we want to call this one?
Amulet.
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 Ooh.
The amulet necklace.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and
So
bring the necklaces in. Okay. All right. So here we go. All right. So we're gonna start it off at My Life is Fine.
yeah,
I think so. I think it's really above a lot of these ones from like the 10s and 20s that are sort of like either not the best or not or kind of meh or plain ugly. I think this is aesthetic, and I think it's just a very unique design. It's maybe a bit much, but I don't know. I
it's
really
definitely a bit much.
but I like what it does here.
Okay. All right. So is it better than Borneo?
Yeah, and that
Yeah,
it
but
looks
this-
like jewelry that wasn't made by a child.
Okay. All right. Is it better than the Africa Immunity bib?
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say
and that it
so.
could also be a bib.
It could also
Is it
be a
what?
bib as well.
It
It's
could
bit
be a
harder
little
a bit
bibby.
harder to clean, but I think you can't throw this one in the washer.
Okay. All right.
What about the
then,
souls just going round and round?
All right. Then we also have our Survivor Amazon
Yeah.
original OG feather necklace.
So this is where it is for me. I don't know if it's going to be below or above this one. I'm trying
I
to
would
figure it
pass
out.
It's better looking.
Okay.
It would survive a fire.
But
Like,
I think the Amazon one I think is involved in more iconic moments than the Philippines one.
To you, Mike. Like, I don't remember any either of these necklaces. No, I do remember Rob winning it, but I couldn't have told you what it looked like
Mhm.
before today. Now I'll remember it forever.
I don't know. I think that I've seen enough with this Survivor Philippines necklace. I'm not that impressed with it.
Why?
I think Rob is pretty protective of the Amazon necklace, to be fair.
Not even that. I just feel like that this necklace, I would not wear it to Fashion Week. I don't.
Which of these would you wear to Fashion Week?
I would wear
Sword.
sword.
You can't turn out of Fashion Week.
Yes.
You came with a gun and a sword.
No guns
I
allowed.
don't know how you guys do it in America, but you can't come to Australian Fashion Week like that.
So I think it depends where Fashion Week is held, Shannon.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
So
Yeah, the H&S is definitely not on it. I'll say that.
yeah, I don't think it's that great, the Survivor Philippines Immunity necklace. It has less to do with me being protective of the Amazon and more to do with I'm just not blown away by the Philippines necklace.
So you say.
I think this is a fine resting place for it, though.
You guys are very much in agreement with your rankings, and I just have opinions. Anyway, that's fine. Outvoted.
That's what this podcast is all about.
Okay.
What? Outvoting me until I get upset and leave?
No.
Are we in danger of losing you?
Are you going to rage quit this?
Yeah, rank something I don't agree with one more time. Make
Okay.
one more sex reference, and I'm out.
You're the one
Okay.
who's doing it.
No,
All right.
you obviously came. Mike, who do you think coined it? I know it was like an hour ago at this point. Who do you think coined the sex toy thing? Does it sound like something I would do, or does it sound like something you did?
People can rewind. If you're just tuning in right now at an hour and 30 minutes in, go back an hour and you'll find
If
out.
you've
the truth.
woken up, I'm telling you, it was Mike. Does it sound like something I would do?
All right. If you just woke up,
Yeah.
just go back to sleep.
Good morning.
Just go back to sleep. All right. What is this next necklace?
All right, so we're actually going to the very next season, and this is one that, I'll be honest, was not really on my radar, but a lot of patrons seem to point it out. We are going to Survivor Caramoan, which may not be that much of a badass season, but has kind of a badass necklace.
Okay. A lot of patrons requested this immunity necklace.
Yeah, so it's going with the teeth theme again, but they
Are those teeth or claws?
So the wiki page says teeth, but they're sort of bandied all about in fabric, so it kind of looks like if you're wearing it, almost like you're a vulture, that you have that sort of like ruffle to it.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it looks like that if you were going to have like sort of like be wearing some sort of like ammunition magazine around your neck, but instead of bullets, there were talons coming out of them. That's kind of what this is, with a tiny bird skull in the middle.
I think that's a bird. I hope that's a bird.
Yeah. And the Robinson Podcast patrons, this is the kind of thing they like.
They were ones that pointed it out. Again, Caramoan is a season that
I didn't really take them as like a Faces of Death crowd.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you realize how many juggalos are among your patrons, Rob. Have you surveyed them?
Yeah, who knew?
But yeah, this is an interesting aesthetic because, again, I do feel like sort of like the candy cane-esque aspect of the way that bands are put around these teeth give it a distinctive look from even something like Fiji, where it's
when you
just
say the candy cane aspect, what do you mean by that?
alternating colors.
Okay.
Who would look at that and see a candy cane in any capacity?
Well, Shannon, I don't know. Do
holidays.
you know your way around candy canes the way you do around crosses? Are you one to judge?
I have no comment. I have no horse in this race.
You and Benry, stay in the corner.
All right, Shannon, what do you think of this?
This is another cursed one. The skull, like as if it wasn't creepy enough to have talons, just like so many talons, they had to go with a skull.
I don't like
I'm very anti-skull.
I don't like that the skull is missing a mouth. That feels bad to me.
This is like a Voldemort skull. Like there's something weird going on.
It has his nose.
Yeah, but just barely. It's too human-like for me. I don't
love
want
it.
Skulls. Yeah. This is really, really ugly, patrons.
With all due respect to the patrons.
How is this important to you? You have as bad taste as Mike does.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and see where this goes on our big list. All right. Is it in the forget you, go home, goodbye tier?
So that's my question is like, should we put this in the back of the Ain't No Hershey bar thing where like it's forgettable, but it's not ugly enough to be part of that Gabon and Marquesas
Well, let
tier?
me, Shannon, what do you think?
I would drop it down a tier because you know how much I hated even just the tusks, the smelly tusks. This is like a lot of that energy, and then it added like more evilness and like a whole skull. Not in a way that made it, I think, more iconic, not in a way that made it more visually pleasing, but just in a way that just terrifies me more.
I mean, does it help if you imagine John Cochran wearing this?
That is actually kind of funny.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, it's so dangerous.
Yeah. So for me, I feel like that the bottom tier is reserved for the things that are just a mess. Like, what is going on here? This is not necessarily like a mess, but it's very dark and grim.
Yeah, this is sad.
Much like Caramoan in the season.
This is a Horcrux.
This is something where, when Brenda said, "Don't take out your teeth," I think she meant this.
No, she meant the immunity necklace. Yeah,
exactly.
Way too many teeth.
Yes.
References in the season.
All right.
Imagine if she took out her teeth and it just was. Anyway, yeah, it's a cursed necklace.
Very cursed necklace. All right. Mike, what will we look at next?
Let's round the bend here and let's move into the 30s. And we start at the top of the 30s with Survivor Worlds Apart. We're going a bit nautical here for the Dirty 30 as we are talking about a compass centerpiece of a very nautical themed necklace.
Okay. All right. This one has a lot going on here. Let me try to talk this through. All right. We have a broken compass in the center of...
I know it's broken.
It does not look like it's working.
Maybe it's just pointing... That's where north was in that particular picture.
Perhaps.
Working compass, TBD.
Then It's not necessarily like a necklace. It looks like there's like two sticks tied together to make an X. Then along the sides of the X are a number of seashells, some dangly, some more in place. Looks like there's also, we've combined some crystals also underneath
Oh,
there. So for you crystal heads out there, a little something for you. So maybe
Not the
that
crystal who created our final tier, but
no,
of course,
and then there's
different
also
guy.
is there some like bamboo that's also off to the side that's sort of like shaped like a dead fish?
what? Oh, is that Will Sims? Is he making up? Is he photobombing
Oh
this? Is
yeah,
that what you're saying?
yeah. So basically, like, do you see that? Is it like some bamboo with like some sort of like a dorsal fin sticking out?
Oh, I sort of see what you're talking about. I think it's the way that the sticks are cutting into the bamboo that they sort of make like a triangular shape.
Yeah. And then let's just tie it all together with some giant rope.
So I don't think this one clasps. I will go that far. I think you just have to put the gargantuan piece of rope around your neck.
The
Yeah.
rope looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's a major rope burn.
Yeah. It's like a tug of war rope is the back part of this necklace.
That's why
So-
you truly need a collar to put this thing around so it doesn't grind up against your neck.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, because visually, it's a mess. It's definitely a mess, but it's like kind of visually appealing to me. Like the color
You like
palette
it?
kind of works. I mean, I wouldn't say I like it, but I don't hate it. Definitely like no animals murdered for this. I think the crystals are quite pretty. The compass is maybe one of the nicest centerpieces that we've seen.
Mhm.
So much better than a cross,
Yeah.
so much better than a skull. If, ding, marry, kill, cross, skull, compass, I'm marrying the compass.
Ding the DST.
But like, what does this have to do with the season? Like, why is this on?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing is like Worlds
we're
Apart
back
has
in
such a
Nicaragua. We already used the cross once.
But this has
World-
nothing to do
Worlds
with the
Apart,
theme.
Worlds Apart has such a weird aesthetic because if you remember, so the tribe immunity idol was the infamous like walking
Of course I
effing
remember.
stick, the stick that had like the hat and the little body to it. The immunity idols were like little wooden medallions that had like a scorpion and a monkey on it, and then this is a compass and a bunch of sea glass and seashells.
Yeah. It's
Maybe
like
they're
shipwreck.
worlds apart. So they're trying to find their way back to each other with the compass.
Interesting. Like, oh, you need to navigate your way back.
Yeah, and then X marks the spot and crystals.
Crystals will help you get there.
all right. Let's see what we're gonna do
Oh,
with
yeah, this is gonna be an
this
interesting one.
Worlds Apart necklace. All right.
Ready for disagreeing.
All right, so let's see. Will it avoid the bottom tier to start things off? Okay.
Starting at bottom tier. Like, that's crazy to me. Like, you could wear this to Fashion Week. So
Yes.
crystal-
Yes. Okay. It is like a little bit of like a Flavor Flav vibe here with the compass.
You know
in the
what
middle.
direction it is, boy.
All right. So Shannon, should we move it up to Ain't No Hershey Bar?
Definitely.
Okay.
I'm
Hershey
moving up-
bars. Ain't no Hershey
I'm
bar is
moving-
coming as crowded as a modern jury box.
Yes. All right. Better than the Caramo and Vulture idol.
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. Better than the Samoa fishhook idol necklace.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm on this tier for me, so you can just, my opinion.
All right. Better than the Nicaraguan cross belt pennies.
Yes, cross belt.
Okay.
Pathetic.
All
It's
right.
like a bad version of hot cross buns.
Yes. Mike, are you enjoying the musk of the Fijian tusk better than this compass necklace?
I don't think I'm enjoying any musk coming from the Dirty 30. This is tough because I agree. Like somehow the aesthetic
Wait,
works.
what? No, I can't. I'm not. We're literally sitting here and seeing if this fairly visually appealing compass is better or worse than the smelly tusks. Like, that is not. There's not a debate.
Do we know
Mike.
if the tusks smell, or is that just a supposition from Mike?
It's canon now.
Did you ask Dreams, Rob? Did you see the
I
word for
forgot to ask him that.
Yeah, dreams. That's exactly the kind of questions we want from these old school survivors.
Mhm.
Like,
Did the
Hey, at
necklace
least-
smell?
you should ask that in the future just in case we need it.
Mhm.
Everything we've said in this podcast is canon. The tusks smell bad. This necklace is not in the same conversation as the smelly
Okay.
tusk.
All right. Keep it going then. Shannon, should it be up to my life is fine?
Yes, but Mike's not
Okay.
going to agree.
The only thing I would put this below might be the shark, because I think the shark is really cool, and I feel like the hot mess value of Worlds Apart and its necklace might be slightly below the appeal that the shark jaw has.
So if I had my way, which I'm clearly not going to, I'd be putting it above the bib. I'd be putting it above the bib.
Putting it above the bib. So a whole tier higher.
Yeah.
What do you think, Rob? You're the tiebreaker here.
So I did not remember this. I mean, for me in my head, if I close my eyes, can I think of what the idol looked like in that season, or the necklace looked like in that season? I could not. So for me, I do remember the bib. I remember like Lex wearing the bib, Ethan wearing the bib. So the bib to me, I think, is memorable. This I do think is a interesting and appealing design. It's not gross. It's not ratchet. So that helps it. I don't, I could see it at the back of My Life is Fine, or even the top of Ain't No Hershey Bar, but I have a hard time bumping it past Borneo.
Fancy Fensington on that one, going right in the middle of where.
I think that's a good negotiation.
I can settle for in back of My Life is Fine, below Borneo.
Okay. All right. Let's
keep
going. We're in the 30s now.
We're in the 30s now, and we're going to just jump to the very next season. We are going to Survivor Cambodia, new location, so that means new inspiration. And indeed, I do think this is a very opulent sort of necklace that I think could also function as like a pseudo immunity vest, if you will.
Okay. All right. So yeah, we've gone outside the box here, and let's talk about this. Yes. This is almost like some sort of like Olympic medal crossed with maybe something that you would get from the Wizard of Oz. That this is
like if the wizard would give it to show you that you had immunity the entire time.
You had immunity the whole time, and this is just to represent that you were immune from every single vote. You had no idea, but you were. Okay, so there is a piece of red fabric, which I do not know if there is a clasp in the back. Mike, did your research say that there was?
I'm going to assume. I'm going to assume the vast majority of the time that there is going to be a clasp in the back, because they want to make it sort of like a one-size-fits-all type of necklace.
Yes, and then
how bad could you be if like a giant head didn't fit through the neck hole? like ripping it? No.
It is adorned by a sort of like a gold, almost like a thing that you would put like a Tony Stark's crystal into.
The arc reactor.
Yeah. Then underneath that there is would you say that is that a bird, a frog, some sort of a like gold pattern of an animal?
I see a lion.
A lion.
Oh, it's like a Rorschach test.
Yes, this is a gold Rorschach test.
How could you possibly see a frog? I can see the bird.
I think it's a frog. It could be a frog with really long arms, maybe.
Yeah.
I see that.
Short legs on the bottom, and then
it's like a lion's face.
Yeah, I think it's, I could see that too. Yeah, I could see all these things.
That's cool.
Then
I see one of like the Quiznos things.
What's a Quizno thing?
You know, the thing is like, Quizno subs! That's what I see.
But your mind's not working the same way ours.
Sponge monkeys, that's what they're called, sponge monkeys.
Gold flakes also adorn the sides as gold leaves drop down. This is a beautiful immunity necklace.
Yeah,
this is memorable to me, which means something.
Yeah, I think
I would wear this.
This is something that, like,
not even to Fashion Week.
I think this kicks the crap out of something like Thailand. This shows like what bling can be when it comes to immunity. I think it's very memorable. I think it's very different as well. It's sort of like cloth-esque in that it's one of those ones that sits naturally on the body as well. It's a soft necklace, for lack of a better term.
I think it would weigh a good amount where it wouldn't be too heavy. I mean, it looks like kind of like a felt. You wouldn't want to be getting it wet, so you'd have to keep that in mind, which might be a bit of a nuisance. But
which was tough in Cambodia because they were getting wet all the time. And they had to remember when they had to get a new shelter.
That's true. So, but I think it looks very opulent. It looks like something that would be awarded to someone who won a challenge, which you can't say for a lot of these necklaces. And I like it. I can't stop seeing the lion. I like that you could spend a lot of time at camp. You know, it's kind of like the dress game or Laurel and Yanni. Like, what is this? So it's a game.
Yeah. Laurel and Yanni is going to be a couple seasons from now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
All right. So let's rank this. Let's see. This is a latecomer to the party.
I think this is going to be a pretty high finisher. I mean, I think we're looking at least My Life is Fine or better.
All right. So let's take a look at our rankings here and see where we're going to go. All right. So let's take a look and we'll see. Here we go. Let's get our new necklace here. Is this a different picture?
It's a different picture. Yeah, I got it from a different angle.
All right, different angle. Ooh, first
you did so much work on this.
Threw me off. Okay. All right. So let's see. Better than Ain't No Hershey Bar. Is it up to My Life is Fine?
I definitely think so.
Okay.
I think there could be an argument for the bottom of Worth Playing For.
Shannon, do you have it this high?
I think I do, because I think like I actually really loved a lot of the design and kind of ideas that went into the Second Chances season. Like that was just such an epic season to me, and even like having the contestants wear their initial clothing, like it was very conceptual in that way. And I was like some of the most addicted I've ever been to Survivor was during that season. Maybe that's why I remember this necklace.
Okay.
So yeah, it's well designed. Like
is it better?
Into the theme.
Shannon, it's better than Tocantins, the original Steven season. This is Steven versus Steven.
Steven is great at having good immunity necklaces. I still wouldn't say so, because I just think the Tocantins one's really pretty and it's really like beautifully captures the culture, but I think it would just sit under that.
Yeah, nobody's going to wear this as a headdress anytime soon. Not even Steven himself, should he win it. But I think this is also if we even freeze the Worth Playing For tier here, it's a great representation, right? We have an old school season, a middle school season, and a new school season represented right now.
Okay. All right, Mike, what's next?
So not to say that we need to freeze it, but coming up there's some choices. Because let's move to Survivor Millennials versus Gen X, and it was brought to my attention that we should sort of relitigate the immunity necklace, because it's a little less family friendly than I think we remember it being. Flat out, this
look on our faces like, where is this going?
This necklace from Millennials versus Gen X has boobs.
Does it have boobs?
Or it could be, well, depending on the placement, or it could be, if we're going back to the DST of it all, it could be two things on the side of one thing.
Yeah, that's what I recall. Okay, all right.
Okay.
So, let me describe to you what we have here. Let's start with a tiki, making a pained look.
No, it's
or
happy.
Is he crying?
No, I think he's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Then on the left and the right, flanked by a large, flat, shiny seashell.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we have a number of tiny plantains that are jutting off the side. What would you call those, Shannon?
Teeth.
Teeth of what?
I don't know. Everything seems to be teeth now, so I just went to teeth.
Yeah, I think they're various pieces of wood and like bones. Whether those are teeth or not, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I feel like it's so lazy to go to the bone well. Just like, oh, bones, we'll just throw on bones. Lazy.
Yeah.
Especially at this point in Survivor history. I mean, they did go back to Fiji again, so they can't pull. They did tusk the first time. What are they going to do now?
Yeah.
True. Bones are the Fiji of Survivor necklaces.
And then we have everything all attached to one sturdy vine, which we can clearly see with a clasp in the back.
See, I wouldn't say this isn't family friendly. Like, we have a literal sex toy on the list, but if you were to wear it as a belt, it would evoke some images. That's true.
I think this would be too small to wear for. You must be waiting until day 39 to wear this as a belt.
That's not what I thought you were going with.
What? I lost a lot of weight, but not where it counts.
I thought when you said that it would be too small, you were going in a different. But you weren't Mike, because Mike would be
no.
No, you would an hour ago, Shannon.
Don't try and rewrite the narrative, okay? Anyone who's been listening since the beginning, which is most podcast listeners, knows what happened.
Okay. Shannon, do you have any strong feelings about this?
Not a ton. I would, it's not visually pleasing. It's not very interesting. Like in terms of iconic, is it remembered as the penis idol? I guess. Is that iconic at this point? No. Is that even the dirtiest thing we've talked about today? Not even that. Where is it ranking to be the best at anything if it can't even be the best at being the penis idol?
Okay. I like that Shannon has, as we close into 2 hours of this podcast, is now just interviewing herself about where she's gone wrong in this podcast.
What? Where to begin?
Yeah. Why did I come here? I don't know. Was it a good idea? Probably not. Should I have passed? Yes.
To be fair, I mean, you're giving yourself a lot of credit if you think I needed to get 2 hours into this podcast to have the answers to those questions.
Okay.
I knew that Mike would make this weird, okay? I already knew.
Listen.
All right.
It's my brand.
All right. Let's rank this Millennials versus Gen X idol. And let's start here. Okay. It's in the bottom tier.
I think it's in the bottom tier. I think it is. I think it's that combination of both unmemorable, not for like, I do not know what they're doing with this mishmash of wood and bones, even around like the euphemistic aspects of it. You know, like it just feels like it's thrown
You feel like
together.
they were going for the euphemism.
I don't know, to be honest. Maybe it was sort of like a litmus test. You know, this was the battle of the ages, much like the question of do you text you or the word you? It's like, look at this necklace. What do you see? And they assume that the millennials would be like, ha ha ha, that's a penis. And the Gen Xers would be like, I respect that tiki and its surrounding seashells.
For sure, Taylor just looked at it like, ha, like I can definitely see that
love
happened.
Goggles. Yeah. So
they do kind of look like love goggles. These are love goggles.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Shannon, would you have it this low?
It doesn't, because I think I might put it slightly ahead of like the Spectre of Death one from Caramoan.
Mike, this is maybe a misfire, but I wouldn't say it's ratchet. I wouldn't say it's an abomination.
I don't know. I feel like
these other things that are on this tier.
The Caramoan idol and everything above it at least look more cohesive. This just does not look cohesive whatsoever.
To me, I feel like that this is near the Samoa fish hook and just like very. Did you guys even try?
I think they tried and they failed.
What were they going for?
I think they were going for some sort of aesthetic here, some sort of like bare bones or bare wood aesthetic in many ways, and I think they failed there.
I don't know.
Too bad.
Mike, is it important for you to have it in the bottom tier with the wreath and the DST?
I won't quibble with that. I feel like our Ain't No Hershey bar is just burgeoning, but I think it only makes sense that our dong idol is gonna build out a little bit of that lane.
We're not calling it that.
No, we definitely are.
Yeah. Shannon, could it pass the Caramoan vulture idol?
That's kind of where it is for me. I thought you were gonna say, could you wear this to Fashion Week? Because no.
I could see people wearing it.
I think that gets the censor bar at Fashion Week.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put it kind of like because I hate the skull, so I'm like already. I kind of want to put it ahead of that. But.
Right, but it does have bones in it.
Does it? What are those? I can't even.
We don't know if they're bones or not.
It's
undetermined. I said they were plantains.
I think it's more likely that they're bones than plantains.
Huh?
They do look like tiny little.
They were not ripe. Don't eat them.
There's plantain etiquette, immunity necklace etiquette.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Shannon, where would you have this higher or lower?
I love that
Caramoan?
my opinion is now important. Let's put it slightly higher than Caramoan.
Okay.
Because we shouldn't be rewarding them for using skulls.
Can you live with that?
I'll listen. I'll live in it. I'll live in it. I'll live with it.
I also think that Samoa is so bad that at least this has something.
So you're jockeying to put it above Samoa.
Yeah. This fish hook is
I don't know. I feel like the ugliness of this thing can only get it so far.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to agree with Mike, which means the podcast has gone on too long.
All right.
Well, we only have two left here. We reached our final two. So let's move on to the very next season. We have to talk about Survivor Game Changers because this might be the most interesting necklace we have to talk about in this entire batch.
All right. Here we go. Let's talk about this. Gadzooks. What what in the name of Jeff Probst is going on here? We have a knotted rope around the rusted knotted rope. In the center, there is some sort of a medallion for Aquaman, which is a downward facing trident.
Oh, that's my favorite yoga pose.
Yes. Then also around the knotted rope, we have skeleton keys. We have some looks like some fossilized seahorses.
No, those are octopus tentacles.
Octopus tentacles. How do you know?
Well, listen, I've got the tattoo to prove it, don't I?
Oh, I guess so. Mike,
Mike's like, I can tell you a thing or two about octopus tentacles.
Because one's on my body.
Mike, this necklace is like a Stefan weekend update description of an idol come to life.
This thing has everything. Rope that's barely knotted, sea glass, an upside down trident, and human calamari. That's that thing when a bunch of tiny tentacles make their way across you.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what I think they did. I think they got the rope, they knotted it a little, they put it in super glue, and then they put it into a bag of props and just pulled it out. And here's what we have.
Here's what we got.
This is bananas and not plantains. I mean, so I remember Game Changers had a very specific aesthetic. They were going for the whole shipwreck angle. I remember specifically the tribal.
I mean, they did that a lot. It was a shipwreck for a lot of reasons.
Shannon, do you think that this necklace is evocative of the Game Changers casting in that they said, hey, it's a season, like, all right, well, let's throw in Beast Mode Cowboy in there, Haley Ford, whatever, like, we want a necklace that sort of will remind us of, we don't know what this is.
Yeah, they proverbially stuck a rope into the casting pool, put super glue on it, and just pulled and saw what came out.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think so. I also think that this necklace, we cannot forget, is one of the reasons we got Advantage Get It.
That's very true.
So
it's
it's
gonna happen in the
first
bottom.
in its own way. It's pretty ugly.
Yeah.
And yeah, the tentacles, I mean, because Survivor South Africa did it like actual octopus.
Yeah, I was gonna say like this. If you want to look at like a cephalopod base immunity necklace, go to Survivor South Africa Island of Secrets, because that thing is outrageous.
Yeah.
If you want to see tentacles, like you go to that necklace, you go to Mike's body, and then you go to this. Like this is the worst example of that. It's bad.
Although, Mike, does this necklace register at all on the 50 Shades scale between the rope and the keys?
I thought you meant the hentai of it all with the tentacles. It's really just ticked a lot of boxes for the internet.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I have to give it kudos for is unconventional use of materials. Like, I do think like the rope part of it is actually very interesting to me. I just feel like if they had adorned it with any other stuff besides what they put on it, the rope could have been an interesting sort of like base level to add things onto.
I don't understand how a 19 necklace is into this, and I didn't even know we were judging on unconventional use of materials until right now. But the rope is like weirdly discolored.
In some places.
So what is like the blue and red like and the like what?
I think that's more like sea glass.
What is sea glass?
Sea glass is it's glass that gets like pounded by the waves and so it smooths out. Have you ever like gone beach combing and found sea glass before?
Clearly not.
No.
Yeah, okay. So that's something I don't know. It looks like sea glass to me. That it's sort of is like it's very colorful and shiny. So that it's glass that's sort of been weathered down by the erosion aspects of it to make it very smooth and easy to touch.
All right, so here we go. We've got our Game Changers potpourri. A little bit of something for everybody here in the Survivor Game Changers necklace. All right. Is it better than the Marquesian DST?
Yeah, I mean, so this is the question. Like, does this belong in the bottom tier for you? Or is this still sort of like the Millennials versus Gen X one? Like, it's ugly, but it's not as much of a hot mess to put it in the bottom tier.
But then the fact that it's partly responsible for Advantage Get In. Like, it's only that I'm like, this took down Surrey.
I think it's ugly enough to be in the bottom tier. How low would you have it?
I agree. And my question is, because I think the DST is still going to be our bottom ranked one. My question is above or below Gabon?
Nah, even with Advantage Get In, I still think above. Like the Gabon one is not a necklace.
Yeah. The Gabon necklace is a pile of hay.
Yeah, like this is at least a necklace that we can agree on.
Plus,
Yeah.
it is at least going for theming, as opposed to, I think Gabon is, let's take the 3 little pigs and put it around someone's neck. Doesn't really apply to the season. So as garish as it may be, I agree with where it is right now.
Yeah, and I agree with you that the fact that they try to keep it in the theme of you wanted rope, you got it. You wanted Sari, you got it. You maybe wanted a trident, you got your Sandra. But did you want tentacles? Did you want Caleb? Well, you got it. You know, and I think that that's in theme.
Okay. All right.
Here we
One
go.
more to look at.
Anyway.
One more to look at, but I think we have finished with perhaps, I would say probably the most talked about recent immunity necklace because of how ugly it is. We're finishing off with the Ghost Island immunity necklace.
Okay.
I know that you had your own system, but I would have loved if you'd done the Island of the Idols one, just because that one I remember because it had 2 totems on it, I think.
Right.
And that made no sense because they weren't meant to know about, Sandra and Rob being there. So
you knew though.
Yeah,
right.
like, if you knew, you would have been like, oh yeah. But if you didn't, it would have made sense, but you would have been like, that's a little random. Although I guess in the context of what we've seen, it wouldn't have been that random at all.
Yeah, well, It's also that had it in the logo. It had it as the tribe immunity idol and the individual immunity necklace. So they were all about like, ooh, it's a secret to everyone.
Yeah, and it's funny because like apparently that secret just got like mass told, even though it wasn't. So they weren't being as clever about it as they thought they were.
Yeah. All right. Ghost Island. We have here what appears to be some driftwood, which looks like it's sort of knotted in the middle. And then off to the side, I don't really, are those buoys that are floating? Are they shells? Mike, do you have any
I'm
insight?
pretty sure they're cells. They're not buoys or buoys, as Jonathan LaPaglia would put it.
Yeah. And in the center, it looks like that there is a dinner plate lodged in between the driftwood, which is in the shape of a skull with palm trees jutting out to sort of make eyes for the skull, and a dancing man like Rafiki in The Lion King holding up a torch, which is sort of like the nose.
Yeah, so this is all sorts of strange. And even separate from this, I also remember this necklace being really flimsy. In particular, the seashells were so flat that I think at the time, Liana, because I think we did a buffer snuff and we put this necklace in here, and Liana said that it reminded them of like a craft, like something to loop it back to the very beginning, Rob, something that your 5-year-old son would make. Of like, yeah, I just painted a bunch of trees and 2 people dancing on it, and then I attached it to a bunch of driftwood and screwed a couple of seashells on and said, "Have this, Wendell."
But the multi-dimension, like to make it so multi-dimensional, I think to like get a dinner plate and then make that into a skull, but also a man dancing under trees. It's like, it's so many things. And I appreciate just kind of like that versatility.
It does tell a story of like a couple that had a tryst and they're going on a second honeymoon. And here they are dancing under 2 palm trees.
Island?
Yeah, exactly. Like this is where the bad mistakes come to roost. It's like, listen, we're going to fix the mistake. We're going to reverse the curse of our marriage.
And what is on the driftwood? Like, what is that symbol?
I don't know. It kind of looks like an alien symbol.
Yeah, it kind of looks a little bit like a TIE fighter from the Star Wars series of films.
Yeah. Red survivor standing by.
Yeah, looks like maybe these guys are, backing up Darth Vader. Okay.
It's very ugly.
And actually, the dinner plate design kind of looks like Darth Vader with like the hollow sunken eyes.
Okay. All right. So let's take a look at where this should go in our list. All right. So I guess we'll start it here on our bottom tier. Okay. Shannon, any thoughts?
It's ugly, but I don't think it's like as much monstrosity. I wouldn't put it as low as the bottom tier, but I'd be putting it probably somewhere in the middle of Ain't No Hershey Bar. Like, again, for me, like...
In the middle, wow.
Yeah. Because for me, the middle of it is the musky tusks. So, like, I don't even agree that it should be there, but it's kind of in that, like, void of ugly nothingness, which is very much the bottom of Ain't No Hershey Bar.
Mike, what do you think? Ghost Island.
I don't know. I think it's in the bottom tier because at least I think it's ugly personally. Like I just think it looks flimsy. It looks chintzy, not chizzy. And at least again, the game changers aspect has that like nautical theme going for it, as much of a mishmash as it may be. God only knows what they were going for here with the Ghost Island stuff.
So for me, I think the forget you, go home, goodbye tier is stuff that it is a mess. What is this? What go back and come up with something new. That the Ain't No Hershey Bar tier, I think, is more, this is a simple idea that failed. And I feel like that this is more of a simple idea that failed than this is an abomination.
I'm also realizing that this is not indeed two people. It's just one person in what looks like a torch. I believe.
Yeah.
I thought it was one person and a very skinny other person.
No, I mean, I guess it could be.
It could be if they return to the side.
Or like dancing with a broom like Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also think like the missed opportunity, like this is for Ghost Island. You couldn't come up with something better for Ghost Island? Like
that's the thing. Like I mean, let's look back to the very beginning. It was very clear that like, okay, we got to invest in all these other things that we're bringing back. Oh crap, we need an individual immunity necklace, and Ghost Island shouldn't be a thing yet. Paint something on quick, and we need while the paint dries, we'll bring it over to the first challenge.
Can I tell you why this is bad? Because this should have been the sword. Like the immunity necklace for Ghost Island should have just been like the most iconic immunity necklace from Survivor history. Don't you like? As if they made like it's Ghost Island and they made a new necklace and it wasn't even good. Like that's insulting.
I agree. I think it feels like a miss. That's another reason why I was like sliding it towards the bottom tier, because I feel like it's a missed opportunity.
Okay.
Imagine how cool it would have been if it was the Pearl Island's sword and gun.
That would have been good.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, you brought back 3 urns. Bring back the sword.
Well, the mythology of Ghost Island was that it had to be misplayed. So you'd have to come up with a time when somebody misplayed the immunity idol.
Yeah, and Lil won immunity in the last one and took Sandra, and that probably lost the game.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you could have done
that. I like that. Like, or you could say one time the jury won the sword, and as a result, Dara was voted out, and that was the curse.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could.
Okay.
I mean, you can say anything, but I just think was this better than just bring back like an iconic necklace? Definitely not.
Just for fun, Mike, if we were going to add the Survivor Micronesia necklace, where would it be?
It's a good question, because I feel like the necklace would sort of be in that sort of like in that like Samoa Panama section, because again, I feel like the necklace itself is really kind of a nothing burger. It's like a generic, hey, here's a bunch of tikis on a necklace. It might be buoyed a bit by the fact that it appeared in a later installation. But I think if you lined up 3 necklaces next to, if I lined up like Micronesia, South Pacific, and Heroes versus Villains next to each other, and I said, which one of these is the Micronesia necklace? I think it would be a tough one to pick. So I think in terms of memorability as an aesthetic itself, it really wasn't there.
Okay.
I'm just thinking now about how like Jeff could have stood up there and said, one time, like, Lil won this, and, like, it's not about winning it, it's about what you do with it. Like, it could have been really cool. I'm mad that that's something
and it could have been like, it was the slippery slope that led to become the only 2-time winner in Survivor history so far, you know?
It would have been so good. I'm so mad now that that's not what they did.
Okay. All right. Well, look, we can't fix what they did in the old seasons. We can only hope that they don't make similar mistakes in the future. It's the best we can hope for. All right. Let's look at our list one more time and look at what we came up with.
Waking up, let's see where we got.
Yeah, if you just woke up and are joining us now, nothing inappropriate was said, and we had a great list.
Good one, Rob.
Yes. Okay. All right. So let's talk about our bottom tier. Forget you. Go home. Goodbye. We have our Game Changers grab bag immunity necklace, our Survivor Gabon immunity wreath, and the Marquesian little trinket idol for those of you who are just joining us.
Fans' favorite dog sex toy for the newbies.
Yes. Okay. All right. Are we comfortable here?
Yeah, I think
comfortable.
Well, if we're using your logic, Rob, of like it really fits all the categories of ugly, a mess, and unmemorable, I think all three of those really hit all those points.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to quibble with one thing because I feel like that we sort of defined, okay, this is a mess. This is a disaster. Our Ain't No Hershey bar tier, I think that we defined as a relatively simple design, but uninspired.
When did
Which,
anyone define anything? Like, I'm so confused.
Right at the end, Shannon.
yeah,
Okay,
we're
after
looking
we
at
were
what we
done.
have here. All right. We have here our that from top to bottom. We have our Fiji, our Palau shark teeth, our Guatemalan candy necklace, our Survivor Panama immunity cape. Now, here's what I think. Okay, I think that this one belongs in the bottom tier.
I was gonna, Rob, I was just thinking that when you said that Ain't No Hershey bar is simple, but
All right,
missing
I
the
think
mark.
we all sort of looked at that one like this one. Ain't
Yeah, it
simple.
doesn't fit. It's ugly. It's so ugly.
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay.
I'm fine with putting it down there.
Yeah.
Okay, so where is it in the bottom tier? Is it the top of the bottom tier?
I think
That's
so.
worse than the
Worse
Game
than
Changers.
Game Changers?
I don't know. I think the size of it is a pretty remarkable piece. I think more so than the odds and ends that comes with the Game Changers one.
You would top it off? Do I have to remind you about the dead baby head on this one?
Right, but we don't know how many baby parts are on the Game Changers one. There's so much stuff on there.
Yes.
And maybe it just didn't attach to the glue and it's just been left in the box.
Okay. All right. So we'll drop the Survivor Panama voodoo cape down to the top of the Forget
Big
You Go
fall,
Home
big
Goodbye
fall.
tier.
It fell like 6 or 7 places.
Yeah.
at once.
Yeah.
That was
Look.
what?
Really, Michelle and Victoria did that.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we have from top to bottom of the Ain't No Hershey bar tier. We have the Palau shark teeth, Guatemalan candy necklace, the tusk that Mike enjoys the musk of this Fijian tusk necklace, the Nicaraguan cross necklace, the Samoan fishing hook, the Millennials versus genitalia necklace. We have the
So long to get there, but I'm so glad we did. All right.
Caramoan, the Caramoan vulture necklace, and the Ghost Island driftwood necklace.
So let me ask, I know we went the other way. Are there any here that we would want to bump up to My Life is Fine?
Not for me.
In retrospect. I could
None of
see
them are
see an argument for the shark necklace, but it would be on the low end.
Yeah. I think it's fine here. I think it's good at kicking off the simplistic but lacking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good at like if you just hadn't put so many shark teeth, you could have been bumped up a tier.
Exactly. It had
If
one
that's the
job.
lesson you have to learn. Then
Okay. Shannon, could you come up with a category for what we have here? The 5 entries here in My Life is Fine, which include the Amazon feather necklace, the Philippines Fashion Week amulet, the immunity bib from South Africa, the original Borneo face paint totem, and the Survivor Worlds Apart Flavor Flav compass.
Yeah, I think that these are largely of value to us, mostly good, but with obvious flaws that that have them not be
like on the right path, but there's still some things that are keeping it from the top tier.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then our top tier, our top three.
Our 3 Musketeers.
3 Musketeers. We have in third place, the Survivor Cambodia Second Chances immunity vest.
Ironic that would come third for Second Chances.
Exactly.
We have in second place the Survivor Tocantins feathery necklace.
Feather explosion.
Yes. And then in first place, the greatest immunity necklace is no necklace at all. It is the sword, sheath, and pistol holster.
I mean, the lesson truly is, Rob, that it's about the necklaces we made along the way, not the final result.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I love the best necklace is not a necklace at all, just defines what we're doing here, and that feels right to me. But like in doing this exercise, I'm concerned at how bad so many of the necklaces are. Like, this is a professional production. They seem to be kind of going on a downward trend a little bit. I know that the Cambodia one, I mean, that was like 10 seasons ago,
Okay.
basically at this point. So
Well, let's do an exercise, Shannon. Then, okay, so let's say, all right, we get a call after this podcast is over from the Survivor Art Department, season 41. Hey, we just listened to the podcast. You guys seem like you are on the right track. Can you help us develop a great looking immunity necklace? We loved what Mike did in season 39. Can you help us come up with a great necklace for season 41, regardless of theme?
well, I mean, in Talking Tribal, we had to make an immunity idol, and mine was so ugly, and also I couldn't tie it up. Like, I could not tie the knot, so I was just like holding it behind my head. It was really embarrassing. So,
okay.
I mean, we should put our money where our mouth is after just insulting all these necklaces.
All right. Well, let's just talk about because we said the best necklace was something that was not a necklace at all. Could we think outside the box? How about here? I've got one. Hear me out. Feather bow tie.
Oh, feather bow tie. How about this? Feather crown.
Feather crown. So
or feather tiara.
All right. So yeah, you've just won immunity for now. Personally, feather crown was
some bad memories for you.
Not great for me in my past experience, but I do like the idea of. I feel like that we're onto something here.
Like I think something that can go on you, but not on around your neck.
I think that the best necklaces are ones that are like speak to the theme of the season. Obviously, that was true of the Pearl Islands one. So if we're hoping or thinking the next season is going to be Survivor Wild West, maybe it is just a holster. And because no OH&S in America, we give them the gun. We give them a full-on gun with it.
Not loaded though.
But could we do? It's tough because I would say we could do a cowboy hat for that season, but I feel like because so many people come in with cowboy hats, you would sort of be eliminating that wardrobe thing. What about like sort of like a bandana necklace for Wild Wild West that you can sort of tie around your mouth if you want to, be up to any mischief in your spy shack?
Yeah.
I guess it is a buff. That's true.
Yeah. What about something kind of like that you can you drape it over your shoulders? I'm not sure if this would be more like an immunity towel or
maybe an immunity jacket.
That would be good. Hard to get one size fits all on the jacket, but like I'm imagining something like nunchucks that you would have over your would go around your neck, but not close in the front.
Can we do like immunity chainmail where you're like putting it on above your clothing?
You know what I'm loving is I'm getting to see how these immunity necklaces were made, because I feel like it starts in an okay place, and that the fact that we already got to chainmail after a minute of discussion shows how some of these necklaces came to be.
Record time.
Yes. Yeah, I do wonder. Yeah, going back to the feather hat idea. Like, what about some sort of like a pirate hat? Like, I feel like that would be you could really put it on somebody. I think that would be, like, get over here, come on, put this hat on.
Yeah, and I think also it's highly desirable, right? It is very hot and sunny on the Survivor Island, and so people are seeking shade at a moment's notice, and then you get one immediately. It's almost like a double purpose, like that bib we mentioned at the very beginning.
Yeah. It's like a kid celebrating a birthday in like elementary school class. It's like, all right, here's the birthday kid over here, the big hat.
Here's your immunity hat.
Yeah.
I think it has to be a necklace. Like I think we wanted to have the semblance of a necklace, though.
Could it be both? Could it be a necklace that connects to a hat, one piece?
And you can wear it reversible?
What?
You could wear it as both a hat and a necklace, depending on how.
Well, I'm thinking of like you put it on and it like almost like those hats that have the things that you could drink beer out of. You have the hat and it connects down to like a chain that turns into a necklace.
And you can drink beer out of it.
Mike,
so to answer your question, Rob, we cannot come up with a better immunity.
No, I think we're striking out. But just go back to the jacket idea. Like, I do feel like the HOH gets a robe on Big Brother. Big Brother, Shannon, is a show where people live in a house and are filmed by cameras, which is similar to Survivor, but it takes place all in a parking lot. Yes. And yes.
No, they have a HOHS in Australia.
Yeah. Could you do some kind of a robe?
You know what? I think we can compromise. I think a vest can be enough of a one size fits all type of thing where it's aesthetic enough, like it can cover enough of you, and it can be big enough that you don't need to worry about like arm length or arm thickness or anything like that. Because I think vests are. If I've done enough show choir in my day to know that vests can take you a long ways around a bunch of different size people.
Yeah. What about some sort of like wrestling belt? That I feel like that would be, because you'd be like able to, you could wear it like a belt. You could carry it around to tribal council, and think that, so like I'm the champion of immunity.
So here's my question: is that belts and necklaces, like what is the difference between them other than just how you choose to wear it? All of these necklaces could be belts.
A wrestling belt is like very, very large. Like you wouldn't be able to wear it around your neck.
Pretty large.
Well, I think belts are more so meant to be form fitting. Like they're meant to restrict to your body form. Whereas I think these necklaces, as we've seen, are not necessarily meant to be like choking your neck unless you're made of tusks.
Some of them are not. Some of them could have been. I think some of them look more like belts and necklaces.
What about an immunity garter? It goes around your leg. It's like a smaller version of the necklace, and you can like raise your pant leg to show that you're immune.
And then the person who wins it after their term is over, then they throw it out to the rest of the tribe.
And whoever gets it, you don't need immunity challenges. Just do that.
I think
what about immunity ring? You know, just like a beautiful
smaller.
And I mean, that's cool.
Jeff, what finger would love you wear to give it back. As my fingers. Do you have any like butter or anything? It's just stuck.
And this is great because we could have someone really be obsessed with winning immunity, and they turn very Gollum-like of obsessing over the immunity ring.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think our work is done here.
I think we really got somewhere. I think we really nailed it. Great.
Okay. All right. Well, Shannon, let me go to you first. And just we have still a lot to cover because we're going to hear about everything that Mike is working on. Shannon, what are you up to besides talking with Harry?
Oh, I mean, I did the Harry podcast. I've actually done a lot of podcasting this week, which has been kind of rare in these times. I was on Josh's post-show recaps community building podcast.
Oh, I didn't know you're a big community person.
Yes,
I'm a big community person.
I've got one episode left in my rewatch. But also it's like one of my favorite shows ever.
Does Community do it? Spoiler alert. Does Community do a big finale, or it's just that it's the final episode?
No, it does try to.
It's not like a big finale, like oh my god, we're doing all this stuff, but it's a definitive conclusion.
Yeah.
And because Community was like always on the verge of getting canceled, they have like 4 different series finales where they were like, oh, we're coming back, we'll just tie it up just in case. So so anyway, we did the 2 Christmas episodes. Speaking of how I have nothing to comment on of the anti-Semitic Nicaraguan necklace, but those are 2 of my favorite episodes, especially Others Uncontrollable Christmas, and we also did regional holiday music, so we chatted about that, which was fun. And like it was a big PSR patron week for me, because then last week I was also on Watching with Wiggler, just chatting to him for like an hour about nothing really. So that's open for patrons, but that was really fun. Like we got really deep. We talked about some stuff. I was like, how many people are really listening to this? So it was quite an intimate conversation. So sign up.
You didn't even watch something.
I mean, I'm watching some trashy stuff. I'm watching The Bachelorette.
No, but you did a Watching with Wiggler podcast and you weren't even watching anything.
You're watching yourselves. Cooking with yourselves.
I was just basically talking about TV. There's much like this podcast, there's like not a lot of structure to it. We don't really know what we're doing, but we're just kind of chatting.
Hey, we did a whole list.
Yeah.
We had tiers. Thank you very much.
This is nothing but structure.
Okay, fair enough. This has been really important.
We made a pie crust. You say what you want to about the filling.
Fair. All very fair. Anyway, so sign up to your post-show recaps patron, but you can listen to the community one even if you're not a patron. I tweeted out the link. So that's what I've been up to. It's a lot less than Mike, but thank you guys for having me on. This was super fun. It was definitely something.
Yes. Okay. And Mike, I know one of the busiest people in podcasting. What are you up to, Mike?
So let's start with, I guess, the most applicable to you, Rob, which is the podcast that we get to do together every week besides Outwit, Outplay, OutLIST, is we get to do not 1, but 2 Amazing Race podcasts. I think, I'm
having so much fun with the Amazing Race season.
Yeah, it's been a really great season.
I'm loving it. I love it.
And I will go so far as to say, Shannon, I think, we're definitely going to want to bring you on for Tar Pits later on to get your thoughts on the Amazing Race and submit yourself, unfortunately, to more
if we get a good response from this episode.
Okay. Fair enough. I didn't know I was still like auditioning for stuff. I've been here for several years. No, I'm loving The Amazing Race. Like, to embarrass my husband for a second, at the end of the last episode, I turned to him and he's just like got tears streaming down his face. And he's like, it's a beautiful show. So we're loving it.
It's,
Peter was crying from The Amazing Race this week?
Was it because of Michelle and Victoria?
He cried, multiple times. He cried when, he cried at just random parts. I should not be saying this on air. I also teared up a little bit, but I just turned to him and he's got proper tears and he's just like,
oh my God.
So beautiful.
Wow.
They need to take this moment and put it in their Amazing Race marketing stuff. Cause it is a tear jerking show, according to
this was a tear jerking podcast, but yeah, no, we're loving it. It makes you laugh, it makes you cry, maybe it just makes him cry. I don't know if with other people not crying, it was
I hadn't heard that reaction.
Yeah, Amazing Race 32 is firing on all cylinders, and we are hopefully doing so as well. I know that we're going to be, I think at the time this is coming out, this will actually be after we do a live recap after the big 2-hour block on the Amazing Race coming this week. And of course, we'll be doing the tar pits that weekend, gathering everything up. And of course, I'm doing exit press as well for the Amazing Race over on parade.com. Then over on post-show recaps, I'm going down the hatch every week with Josh Wigler, reviewing even sillier stuff than immunity necklaces over on our Lost Rewatch podcast. And then go into the stars with Jessica Leese to talk about all things Star Trek as we near the halfway point of Star Trek Discovery Season 3. And then outside of that, a bunch of other little random things, actually Survivor-based. The Survivor Historians came out with our first part of our Nicaragua coverage.
Shannon, perfect.
Yeah,
Vicky
of someone named Shannon. So we covered the first 4 episodes, which might be honestly the strongest part of the season. There's a lot of wackiness to talk about. It really is the Game Changers immunity necklace of seasons. Survivor Nicaragua. You should check that out. I was also on Reality NSFW talking about Australian Outback episode 13. I think it was talking actually when Rob, you and I talked about advertising the internet last week. I got to see that in full in this week's episode.
Yes. Okay. All right. There you go. Of course, all this podcasting is made possible by the patrons of Rob Has a Podcast. We had a lot of fun this week. We played Patron Family Feud on Monday night. That was a big hit. Of course, you can check out everything we have to offer over at robhasawebsite.com/patron. Going to be a jam-packed week of podcasting. Make sure you check out everything at robhasawebsite.com. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll be back with some more Outwit, Outplay, OutLIST coming soon. Have a good one. Bye.